And you? What did you say?
I did.
You guys have been...
Hey, Dave, this is being recorded.
Yeah.
Monday's a hungry day. Don't admit those. What kind of Republican are you?
17, 14.
He sounds like a laundry. Somebody to do it. Don't you understand the system? No, I'm not Republican. You think some question is going on there? Hey, Mama made them.
She's already. Almost. Good? Good? We're good. No, 3 minutes.
That clock's wrong.
Let us know when it's up. My name, we only got to have a name for you. And we're going live, you know.
I know what that is. Hey, John, it's pretty good. How, but not really. How are we going live? What's the big deal? How are we streaming live?
That's going to... Free until the end portion. Free. Later, I suppose.
That's the rest of the good.
I don't have his name.
I got it, yeah. He's going to take it.
We don't have to swear.
John, they can just stop by your office, right?
Don't have to come to the office.
Thanks, John.
Can I just add swearing in?
Oh, yeah.
I
just don't want to. That's your business. Hey, what's going to do? I just
Absolutely.
office hours.
Yeah.
Good for
You'll let me when you see him, because I got to get this done. Cool. That little touch base.
Right on Los Angeles. Are we on public access time now? That's satellite.
We're on their time.
Okay. Pardon me? We have on cable.
Right? Our day.
The Monday, February 24, 2014, South Bend Common Council meeting will come to order. At this time, we would like to invite Chaplain Fred Preston to give us the invocation.
Father God, we thank you for your love and your kindness. We thank you for this day. Thank you for the council. We ask that you bless the council here today, the president and all the members of this council. Touch and bless our mayor of this city. Oh God, touch all the leaders, Lord. Touch each one of them in a mighty way. Lead and guide us, Lord. Give us direction what to do and how to do it. And Father, we give you the praise. We give you the glory. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Bless everyone now under the sound of my voice. Touch and bless each one in a mighty way. And we'll give you praise and we'll thank you for doing it. Thank you for being here with us this evening. We give you praise right now, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, we would like for our city clerk, Mr. John Roy, to please take the roll. Mr. Scott. Present. Mr. Henry. Mrs. Shea.
Here.
Dr. Furley.
Here.
Dr. Brenner.
Present.
Vice President Dieter.
Present, Mr. Wardy.
Mr. Furley. Councilmember White.
Present.
And President Oliver Davis.
I'm present.
9 present.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to hear the report from the subcommittee on minutes.
To the Common Council of the City of South Bend, the subcommittee has inspected the minutes of the February 10th, 2014 meeting of the council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved. Signed, Oliver Davis, David Brenner.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept report from the subcommittee on minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign? It is carried. At this time, we will now have our special business section, and we would like to go to Resolution 1414. Seems like we have a couple of people here tonight for this resolution.
1414. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly commending Derek D. Dieter, who proudly wore pin number 323 for his 39 years of exemplary service on the South Bend Police Department.
Yes. I think you're on, Councilman.
It's on.
We can hear you.
Here, before I present this resolution, I'd like to present
Pardon me?
I'd like to present the gift to you on behalf of the council. Thank you for your service to the city.
Thank you. We hope it's your size. Oops, not big enough. Thank you very much.
Who?
So, with that, I present to you a resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly commending Derek D. Dieter, who proudly wore pin number 323 for his 39 years of exemplary service on the South Bend Police Force. Whereas the Common Council recognizes that on December 22nd, 1975, a St. Joseph High School graduate, Derek David Dieter, applied to be considered for the South Bend Police Department Cadet Program. Derek attended Holy Cross Junior College and earned his A.S. in Criminal Justice at IU South Bend before entering the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in the fall of 1977. And whereas the Common Council notes that on the 10th day of January 1978, Derek David Dieter was officially sworn in as a member of the South Bend Police Department and was assigned pin number 323, which was his number until the 8th day of February 2014, when he retired with distinction as a sworn police officer, having made thousands of arrests, vehicle stops, participated in dozens of car chases, foot pursuits, and was involved in 5 shootouts, all being true acts of police valor. And whereas Officer Dieter's personnel file is overflowing with accolades and awards with 165 letters of commendation for outstanding and heroic police work, 30 letters of citizen recognition, 7 letters of congressional recognition, 3 letters of mayoral recognition, and two letters of recognition from the St. Joseph Prosecutor's Office, and other high honors including the 2008 South Bend Police Department Award for Community-Oriented Policing Partnership for Neighborhood Crime Prevention, the 2005 South Bend Police Department Award for Community Problem Solving for Combating Crime, Enforcing Traffic Laws and City Ordinances, the 2003 SWAT Team Leader Award, the 2001 State High School Brother James Linscott CFC Award for Commitment to God and Community, the 1999 American National Heroes Award for Working on Crime Prevention, the 1999 South Bend Red Ribbon Award for Community Service by Charles Martin Center, 1998 Police Officer of the Year for Exemplary Service Award by the American Legion Post 50, the 1998 runner-up for the American Legion Police Officer of the Year for State of Indiana, the 1997 NAHRO Award for Innovation of Resident Services in All Athletic Programs, the 1996 National Award for Soccer Start awarded by Secretary of the Department of Housing, Urban Development for Honorable Henry Cisneros. The 1996 NAHRO Award for Innovation of Resident Services Youth Engagement. The 1965 National Youth Sports Program, NYSP at Notre Dame, Leaders for Soccer and Football. The 1994 National Youth Sports Program, NYSP at Notre Dame, Mentor and Athletics. The 1994 inducted into the American Red Cross Hall of Fame. The 1989 Police Officer of the Year by the South Bend Exchange Club. And the 1983 Drug Enforcement EEA National Award for work in the field of drug enforcement. Whereas Derek served 20 years on the South Bend Police Department SWAT team, including 10 years as a team leader, he participated in over 350 SWAT calls, many involving high-risk rescues, apprehensions of violent suspects, and gun battles. He trained hundreds of area officers for 20 years in SWAT survival school. Derek won several all-state honors for FOP softball and awards for weightlifting, including a second-place world finish in a silver medal in the 2001 World Police and Fire Games. Derek became the face of community policing for his work with at-risk and disadvantaged youth, was the founder of the Impala program at the South Bend Housing Authority, which stood for Implementing Maturity, Positively, Athleticism, Leadership, and Attitude, and won several state and federal awards. He coached over 800 games of soccer, football, and baseball while teaching youth to take ownership, responsibility, and pride through learning discipline, life skills, confidence, and manners. Derek also coached football at John Adams High School. Whereas Derek started a book program which promotes positive relationships with police, promotes literacy, and gives youth responsibility, which he will continue in his retirement, in conjunction with Better World Books, the Croc Center, and the South Bend Silverhawks. Derek is known for being a coach and mentor, a friend who encourages youth and young people to lead positive and productive lives. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend of Indiana as follows. Section 1. On behalf of all the citizens of South Bend, Indiana, the Common Council hereby publicly and proudly congratulates you, Derek Dieter, for being an exemplary role model on the South Bend Police Department for the past 39 years of dedicated service, where he was a most valuable asset to the police department and our great city. Section 2, the South Bend Common Council wishes Derek, his wife Susie, his children Jessica, Lindsay, Nolan, Gary, and Thurman the very best in the years ahead as he continues to positively and creatively contribute to the best interest of the City of South Bend through his tireless passion to work in and for the community, his infectious smile, and sense of humor. Section 3. This resolution shall be in full force and effect after its adoption by the council and approval by the mayor.
You should say.
What happens? You just press play.
Go.
Maybe
Your volume up?
Anybody know how to do it?
Maybe explain the pictures, Derek. Seriously. I think that'd be helpful.
Sorry.
That's Cletus Ball, an award that he got for soccer, and the picture taken at Pratt Center. That's a group of kids in the calendar. We made in 1997, I think, is Mario here? Mario here? Okay. Those are awards that were given at a banquet we did for the kids in 94, I believe. It's pictures of 4 kids. Is Aaron Johnson here yet? I think he will be. Here. The kids I took out to ASU, Coach Pat Murphy from Notre Dame. For baseball, that's a group of kids, which is now where the Pratt Center is. Aaron Johnson's in that picture, Mario, Billy Easton, I think Brian Burnett's here, Cedric's here, Captain Jim Clark, and Mario, that's over here, a lot bigger now. Brian Burnett, who I think is here, going to be. Betty Kruska is here, which is double pierced ears. It's Billy Easton with Jim Clark, who ran the co-program at the Housing Authority. Senator Burnley was here with his children tonight. A group shot of the kids. Weston Stadium. Secretary of HUD, Henry Cisneros, we went out to Washington, D.C. and were given a honor for soccer start in the entire country. Michael Baker with Little Freeman Dieter, who's not so little anymore. Picture you can't take, which is in front of the White House in '96 with a group of the kids. Far right is Albert Smith, who just started with the county. Tim Romer with the baseball team at X Stadium. We played green and green. Alfredo was here tonight, minus his broken arm now. Lunch in the congressional lunchroom with Tim Romer. Football where the Croc Field is now, probably where the turf is. It's a bridge.
It's a bridge.
Vanessa, I don't know if she made it tonight. She was coming from Chicago. The kids out at the 4-on-4 Nike soccer tournament in Denver, Colorado, which we came in 4th from the country. Kids with the bus. Mario's in that picture. Kendra, Kelton. Albert Smith is now working for the county police in Washington, of course. The kids before a game at Denver. Alfredo, Tyree, who passed away. Robert, Mario Martinez. Is my father Sanger at the airport. Played this ball with the ball at Oliver Park. An article with, I think, was Aldo make it? Aldo's here. That's Aldo picking the ball. I think that's Aldo on the far right in the upper corner with probably Jesse. Nolan Dieter carrying the flag at Kowaleski for the 2001 These games. A group of kids went up for weightlifting. Big IDs when I was undercover. From the book program this last summer. One of the baseball teams we had, I think we were playing at Clay Middle School then, in the Clay Junior. We visited Coach Willingham when he was in Notre Dame, and he talked to the kids about football and life. Other police ideas I've had. And then you have music. Thank you.
Early days. You did it. And that's yourself. You don't want to get feedback. Early days. Push that with stops, you know? Yeah. Yeah, keep talking. Keep talking when you're
Randy Johnson, when he was at Kowaleski, when he got back in town.
Randy Johnson. Wow.
Randy Johnson, I'm a nice man. Motorcycle escort with Ron Vaughn. Probably one of my best friends, and Genesis too. Picture Ron and I in front of the cafe. Picture in the upper right of John Schuba. Below that lady. And to the left, Joe Loud and myself. Picture of me and Ron in front of probably Howard Park. Which one's Ron? Picture of me and Ron at the airport.
So, Ron.
A lot of pictures. Pictures of riding a motorcycle undercover. Car that I had a big crash in. Lucky to be here. Luckily ran a red light. That's the whole team of kids, including one of my daughters and some of the kids here. Pop Warner football team, the Sun Devils. You had a picture of the Sun Devils with all three of my sons in that team. My son, I think, they went undefeated. The Rams football team also went undefeated. Some players, though, Gavin, if you have any players. One of the girls' soccer teams that we had, and one of the boys indoor, those were at the soccer zone. An award from DEA with Chief Thompson, that looks happy, and the guy from CCA looks even happier. Picture of allegedly playing cards in the top left picture. Back was squad car. 2001 on top, Olympics. Bottom is Paul Tuesday, who passed away. Picture of all the soccer kids on top and the coaches on the bottom. This was council awards, first district awards we had. I know Charles Bragg was here tonight. Jim Donnelly and some other people who won awards. Old school council. Older school council. SWAT call on Compton where a guy was hiding in the attic with a gun. Picture of Doug McGarris, who served for 20 years on SWAT also. Kevin Gibbons, Melvin Sanders used to coach with us at the Housing Authority. Jessica Hearns, I don't know if she came here tonight when we played softball at Kovalevsky Stadium. Kevin Gibbons and Albert Smith, who that's the one who's now with the county police and was maintenance director at the Housing Authority for 10 years, writing tickets with Ron on Lincoln Way West. Jim Clark, Calvert, when we tried for the South End, was department. Ron had more hair at that time. Albert again. This was a Gooch Day in Kovalevsky Stadium. Homicide scene in 1979 on Minor Street. SWAT Survival School at the Upper Lot. Joe Alford used to play for me. Bank robbery from First Source Bank on Portage Avenue. Picture of me and Ron again. Shooting victim on Lewinsky in probably 79 or 80. Picture of me and Ron again. Looks like the SWAT call on Calvert where the guy was shooting at his neighbors.
Picture of you.
Stood there.
You what? No, that's not
Tim Romer at our awards banquet. Reggie Swanson in my father's plane at the airport. Mario Martinez with my dad at Sanger. Different pictures of the kids when we went to Washington. We ended up going up to the rotunda on top of the Capitol, which you can't do. It's Billy Easton. I don't know if you got here yet, but Vanessa earlier this last fall. It's an old-looking dude in a squad car when it's snowing. The great cake that I got. Hotel room on my last day. Guys on the last day. Police Jim on the last day. The same.
He looks more buffed.
Fred Eichler wanted to get a picture with me, so we took that. When I cleaned out my car and the last time I'll be in a squad car. There we go.
So at this time, I'd like to extend an invitation for anyone from the public wishing to speak in favor of this ordinance.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council.
Good evening.
It's my pleasure to be able to join in honoring Officer and Councilman Gator. Some might ask why I would rise to honor someone who is a confirmed and unrepentant Yankee fan. But it is written, judge not, lest ye shall be judged. To serve our community as long and as faithfully as Derek has is truly extraordinary. To have worn the uniform for 39 years, putting his life on the line for the citizens of South Bend multiple times is something for which this entire community owes a tremendous debt of gratitude. So with that, in recognition of that service, I cannot allow Derek to escape without accepting a key to the city South Bend's highest honor.
Fred, you gotta watch.
As a citizen of South Bend for 43 years, and having a great love for this community, for certain people that make certain things happen, you meet many different people in the walk of life around the world, country, state, but more importantly here in South Bend. And for the 40 years that this guy's been committed to this community, what has always impressed me the most, it's not the pictures, it's not all the awards, is that it's his caring of people, especially young people who need us. And I have always been impressed with his commitment and the trust that when I've been out with him, and the respect when I went out with him, in certain parts of this community where it's just we're all equal and we all want these kids to win in a game of life. And nobody, in my opinion, especially as a recruiter, if I was looking for one player to coach the streets of this community, it's Derek Dieter. Thank you, and God bless you. Susie, good luck.
So, this is brother.
I feel like John McCloud.
Did you get that?
I feel like John McCloud.
That's why I'm still a legend.
Time for questions, so I'm going to be quick. A little family history. My name is Damian Drew Dieter. I have a sister, Daria Denise Dieter. Of course, my brother is Derek David Dieter. Our father was Dick Dieter, and he lived in a family with three siblings, Mary Jane, Harry, and Tom, so Tom, Dick, and Harry and their family. This is all true. My uncle was Harry Peter Dieter. They called him Cocky for short. He was a twin, Harry and Mary, and Mary had twins Keith and Kenneth, and they were World War II flight instructors, which with my grandfather also being in World War I and World War II, made a lasting impression on my father. So the house that Derek and I grew up in had a lot of military history. And my father was a pilot, so my dad had this cool gun case, and I think that is what first sparked my brother in being a police officer. Now, the Derek Dieter that everybody here knows is the police officer and the councilman, but the one that I grew up with, the pre-1975 Derek Dieter, was actually a fantastic brother. He taught me how to throw a football and shoot a hockey puck. And once he knew that he was going to be a police officer, I was most impressed with his ability to take a goal and go for it. Derek was kind of scrawny when he was a teenager. He was a small dude. And he lifted weights like nobody's business. And I'll never forget this because it was disgusting. He would eat every day tuna fish with ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard. And it worked. He grew. He was smaller than me, and I looked at him. So, we also shared a great love of 70s television. We watched shows like The Brady Bunch and Emergency and SWAT and Starsky and Hutch. And I think that in Derek's head made him decide, I'm going to go for it, I'm going to be a cop. So, well, you know, he went away and he came back a police officer. And then a few years later, you saw the pictures, he's driving a Harley and he's undercover. And then a couple years later, he's on the SWAT team. I mean, the shows that we watched, he's actually doing, and we were amazingly impressed. So, here's what happened. A couple years later, he called me up out of the blue, and he said, hey, what are you doing next Tuesday? I said, nothing. He said, we have SWAT practice. Can you volunteer? I said, sure. What are you going to do? He said, you need to be a bad guy. I said, okay. What's the scenario? I said, well, do you have a ski mask? Just come out Tuesday, we'll go over it. I said, sure. So, I show up on Tuesday, and I don't have a ski mask. I got Michael Myers' scary mask. So, and also unbeknownst to me, Tim Lawler was in attendance observing SWAT practice, okay? So, I said, what's the scenario? He said, you guys just run a convenience store, get in the car left. You're going to go into this youth center and take hostages, and then the SWAT team's going to try to get you. Can you do it? I said, yeah. And I said, well, one problem. On the other side, I can't wear my glasses and the mask. He said, don't worry about the glasses, just do the mask. Here's the fake rifle. We're going in 90 seconds. You ready? I said, okay, let's do this. He said, are you ready? I said, yeah. And he started shaking me and a little bit of this, and I'm pumped up. Yeah, I'm ready. So, 30 seconds, it's go time. We kick in the door. Well, hold on, I forgot to say one thing. Mr. President, can I use the same inflection and tone that I used?
Go for it.
Thank you.
I may regret that.
Okay, so I got the mask on, and I kick in the door, and I look, and the first thing I see, I go, Reach, do it now! I'm pulling your head off! Do it! And I see his hands go up, and I hear, it's me, Tim Lawler! I'm just observing! I said, oh my God, I'm sorry. He came back after the practice, and he scared the living, out of me. But he said, thank you for doing that, because I have a new respect for what our SWAT team does, and for what the police do. And to finish up, I just want to say I'm so thankful that my brother chose the TV show SWAT for his life's work rather than the Brady Bunch. But I think he's been a great architect, but he made one terrific police officer. So, thank you, brother.
Go for it. He did my foot. My left toe. What do you do to it? Move it? Just move my toenail.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. Coming here tonight, my father's with me, and he kind of warned me. He said, son, whatever you do, don't try to be too charming, witty, or intellectual. Just be yourself. So here I am. I believe I speak for everyone in our community when I say we're extremely grateful for the role that you've played throughout the years, your dedication to the task that you've been given. Your accomplishment list goes on with the 165 letters of commendation. I don't have to read all of them, and the list goes on. But what's really important, it's the people's lives that you touch that truly defines you as a man of character. And that they've been happy years and years that we'll always remember fondly. Sometimes it's hard to tell if retirement is a reward for a lifetime of hard work or a punishment. But I've learned that happiness is the consequence of personal effort, and you've always fought for it. Now continue to strive for it and insist upon it always. In 1997, we lost a great humanitarian, Mother Teresa. And trust me, I'm not comparing you to Mother Teresa. But she left many things behind, and one of them was a lesson for all of us. Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. And she said that when we work hard all day long, it feels like we're only a drop in the ocean. But if our individual drops were not in the ocean would be dry. Well, Derek, I'm proud to call you a friend, part of our family, and you're a great drop in our ocean. Thank you.
Sir, before you go, could you give us your name? Your name and address?
Antonio Parisi.
Okay. And address?
Address?
Yeah.
52080 Barrington Place, Granger, Indiana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next person. You can state your name and address and then continue.
Hi, I'm Mike Coleman, C-O-M-A-N. I live at 508 East South Street in the Monroe Park neighborhood. And I came here just to say congratulations to Derek on his retirement. And I texted him once I heard the news. I said, personally, I'm sad to see you go. And thanks for a long career of service to our community as an officer in the South End PD. And thank you for your support to us in Monroe Park and personally for all the kindnesses shown my family. Good luck with your family as you move forward. And then he said, hey, do you mind coming out and saying something? So I thought I'd just write a little bit extra. And I just had to think about what it meant for anybody to do something for 39 years and get my head around that, and I just told myself it should never be taken lightly by anyone that the fact that someone remained employed with an employer for 39 years, that in and of itself is a testament, in my mind, to loyalty and to perseverance, to belief in purpose and to the fulfilling of one's vocation, and not to mention a way of supporting your family. And that type of longevity, in my mind, demands some respect. And that loyalty reflects a love of this community, one of which I believe you thought you could always be better by your actions than your involvement. Obviously, it's true. And sticking with someone through all the inevitable thicks and thins for 39 years of service serves as a lesson and a blessing for all of us, and I just say thank you. And I want to say thank you on behalf of our neighborhood in Monroe Park also, because of Derek, we have a safer and cleaner and more friendly neighborhood now than we did 12 years ago when my wife and family moved in. And it was thanks on your part and your willingness to come over and work with us as a police officer and as a member of the Common Council. Chickens are legal, and thanks to us, and but it's a great way, we found it's a great way when to begin conversations in our neighborhood with people. But also you worked for several years with department managements over there. You conducted a series of knocks and talks. You got involved with folks, you visited people, you supported our fledgling neighborhood block parties, and you suggested neighborhood ideas and activities, and gave a presence to all of us over there, which spoke volumes about your South Bend interest in us. And again, thank you. And lastly, you were kind to my family, and thanks to you and Susie, my kids have a few extra Yankee hats and shirts and shorts and sports bags. And it seemed like for some reason every time you and Susie needed to downsize, you thought of me and Karen and our 8 kids. So thanks.
Excuse me. One thing, before, can I have your attention? After our next, is Councilman Ross going to be at this time on next round? After our next speaker, we would like to former President Councilman Tim Ross to come forth, because I know he doesn't want to stand in the line. We'll have him come be the next speaker, and then we'll continue.
All right, thank you very much. My name's Peter Gillis. I live at 51736 Wexford Drive, Granger, Indiana. Work at Gillis Realty here in South Bend. For the past 20 years, I've been a volunteer in the area's youth sports programs. Currently a football coach at St. Pius, the 10th, St. Anthony, St. Joe South Bend, combined team. I also coach an 18U ASA Gold Level Girls College Exposure Softball team. And for the past 14 years, I run the softball program at the South and Eastside Baseball Softball Association, formerly known as Eastside Little League. I first met Derek back in the early 80s, and I hope I don't get you in trouble for this, but on Sundays, a group of us would go out to Notre Dame and jump the fence at Cartier Field and play tackle football. A lot of good memories. Since then, our kids have played sports together, with and against. When I think of Derek, I think of the movie It's a Wonderful Life. The main character, Jimmy Stewart, through an age, realizes the positive impact he had on his town. Derek, through the youth mentoring program and the youth sports programs, have changed the lives of many in our community. On behalf of myself, my family, our friends, and over 700 kids and volunteers at Eastside Baseball Softball Association, we thank you for the wonderful 39 years of service to our community. Thank you.
We're going to get Tim.
He's right there.
Yeah,
The church say amen. Oh, we go. Yeah, right. I'd like just to give thanks to Derek Dieter and his Common Council of the City of South Bend for the opportunity to speak on this subject. I've met Derek primarily when we both started serving on the South Bend Common Council. And we met several times. When we first started, we had a little conflict, and we were able to get that squared away very quickly. But we met several times at the Sunrise Cafe. And the youth in the neighborhood, also adults, would come and greet him with sincere greetings and emotion. And over the years, I've come to realize that Derek Dieter is a very special person in this community in serving our youth. This city is blessed with the Mayor Buttigieg on his way in a few days to go and serve at Afghanistan. Roger Parent was, after being mayor, served in a capacity with the National
Peace Corps.
Help me out here.
Peace Corps.
Peace Corps.
Amen. In the Peace Corps. And they both, Roger Parent had written on his experience. I'm sure that Mayor Buttigieg will have a report to give back to the city when he comes from Afghanistan. So as Derek has served, I have a couple of things to mention. First of all, accolades for his great service. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't ask him, having been a 39-year police officer, that if you haven't documented it, it didn't happen. And so we also, as we celebrate his service, we want to encourage him to start writing the book. Phelps wrote his book, Parents wrote his, and we need to hear from Derek Dieter, as he is also one of the great things about South Bend that we want to celebrate. So I ask you to pass certainly the resolution, but also a privilege to admonish you, Officer Dieter, and a longtime president, that you would as well start writing the book using that erudite resume and pictures that you already have documented, and present to this city a written document on the wonderful things you have done to enhance the quality of life for our youth in the city of South Bend. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Dawn Jones, 602 Cushing Street, South Bend, Indiana, South Bend School Board. When Derek asked me to come and speak, I thought it was an honor and a privilege, because I met him way back when I was with Tim Romer's office. And at that time, we probably had been on the force maybe 20 years. I don't know. But I thought he was a rookie at the time, just because he was fun, jovial, and it didn't seem like he had just been a police officer that long. But I really appreciate, as a person that has worked with youth, worked with the YMCA, watch youth grow, and understand what it means to work with youth. I know that you have to not only watch them grow and be successful, but sometimes you are disappointed at things that happen. So it takes a lot out of you, and I appreciate you giving yourself to our youth for that reason. And on behalf of the South Bend Community School Corporation and thousands of youth, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we thank you for all your service that you have done. And we know that in South Bend, there is no such thing as retirement. So we thank you for the service that you will do for our youth as we look for mentors continuously at the school corporation. So thank you.
Members of the council. Thank you for letting me cut. I'm actually on the clock at the Center for the Homeless. I wanted to come here and honor my friend, one of my mentors when I first came on, although I'm a little bit older than he is. You really do know that? Apparently. I'm honored to breathe the same air, sir. Anyway, some of this stuff, you had to have seen it yourself. I was with Derek and Susie at a wrestling match at Riley High School just 2 or 3 years ago. It was longer than that. I don't know, time goes by so fast. These kids kept coming up. Derek kept calling them by their first name. And he'd come up, and these kids would come up, and he'd give them a hug. He'd ask them how their mom was doing. He'd ask them how their fathers were doing. He'd ask them how they were doing in school. Speaks volumes. Another time, we were over on Johnson Street. There's a little old Polish lady who just wanted to talk. Derek looked at me, my nickname's Doom. He looks at me and says, Doom, go ahead on. I'll talk to this lady. He sat down on her front porch for the better part of an hour and a half, just listening to this lady tell her story of her neighborhood, what's happened in her neighborhood, what happened in the past in her neighborhood, and whatnot. That is the Derek Dieter that I know, along with being a friend for over 30 years. And I am honored to have come and at least spoken a couple words on behalf of one of the best friends I've ever had in my life, Derek Dieter.
1973 Washington, Indiana state champs. There you go. He's the guy that picks up the tee after the kickoff, so he's an excellent golfer.
My name's Jim Langford. I live at 11961 Tyler Road in Lakeville. For about 15 years, I ran a camp south of town for inner city kids called There Are Children Here. We had 15 acres and lots of nature trails through the woods. And we focused on kids who were anywhere from 5 to 12 years old. And Derek got in touch with me and said he'd like to bring some of the kids from the city housing to the camp. And he came with those kids. And you know, after you've done that for a while, you can tell very quickly whether somebody who is a volunteer there loves the kids, or if it's just something to do. This man loved the kids, and they responded to that. That's a beautiful thing. And to some extent, it's a rare thing to be as genuine with kids. He saw that a lot of them came from a disadvantaged situation, but more important than that, he saw their strengths. And he saw what they came with that were positive things, and he worked on those. One more quick story before I finish. Like Derek's brother, I was also asked by Mr. Dieter if I would be part of the SWAT team practice. And I said, well, what role would I play? And he said, well, you're going to be the guy that's holding the hostage. And I said, well, that'd get a little hairy, wouldn't it? And he said, well, yeah, maybe, but that's the role we want you to play. And I said, okay, here's the deal. Can I say anything I want to the cops? And he said, well, you know, be a little careful. And I said, forget it. I'm not doing it if I can't just speak. So that saved me whatever that was. But this man has been a good friend, and I'm proud and glad to be here to thank you.
My name is Major Bob Webster. I live at 13331 Sorrel Court in Granger. I'm the Senior Croc Center Officer at the Croc Center at 900 West Western Avenue. My privilege to be here tonight to share just a few words of my good friend, Officer and Councilman Derek Dieter. I met him in 2009 when the South Bend Croc Center project came before this council. And I've been teaching my staff, and I want to say that a sale is a transfer of enthusiasm. And there's one thing that I can say about Eric is that, Eric is that he has a passion in his heart for this community. He has a passion for young people, and he has the ability to go out and share that enthusiasm to be able to make a difference. We do many programs with Derek at the Croc Center, and the one thing that I have enjoyed most is that he really puts his money where his mouth is. He's not afraid to get down and dirty with the kids. He knows every single person by their first name, and that is such a trait of someone who cares and loves what he does. I also serve as one of the chaplains for the South Bend Police Department. It's been my privilege to work alongside him for the last couple of years, and on his next to last day of serving as a police officer, active police officer, it was my privilege to ride alongside him and sit in his car and just listen to the passion and the love that he has for our city. I thank you, Derek, for your life's accomplishments, and it's only begun. God bless you.
Hi, I'm Charity Kelsey. I'm also from the Croc Center. I live at 1005 Maplewood Drive in Wacomissa. And just real brief, a lot of great stories about things that Derek's done over the years, but I look forward to continuing to work with you. People probably don't know that Derek has a book program that he does. He comes to the Croc Center and he gets a barrel of books. You see him dragging it through the Croc Center that we've had donated from Better World Books. And he brings those to the community kids. And he hands them out and he says, if you read this book, I'm going to come back in a couple weeks, give me a book report, and I'm going to give you something. And he gives them Croc Center day passes or Silverhawks passes. And I get to see those kids come in so proud with that pass saying, Officer Dieter gave this to me because I read a book. And I just think those little things probably go unnoticed all the time, but they impact the kids greatly. So thank you. Even though he's a Yankees fan and I'm a Red Sox
fan. Apostle Michael Patton, pastor of Kingdom Life Christian Cathedral, 707 Sherman Avenue. It is an honor, Derek, for me to be here today and to share on behalf of the northwest end of town where you grew up and where you spend a lot of your time investing into the young people and investing into the families there on the northwest end of town. You served for 39 years, and you served passionately. You have invested into the neighborhood and into the city of South Bend, and we are grateful and thankful for the 39 years that you have served in this community to make it better. We wish you well as you retire and you go on to bigger and better things. We hope you do a lot of fishing and watching a lot of football. Thank you so much for it.
My name is Pastor Mario Sims. I'm the senior pastor of Douglas Chapel, 608 South St. Joseph Street, South Bend. A lot of trips downtown, I always drop by Michigan Street heading north, and I always see Derek's squad car kind of parked about a block away from the central downtown area. I figured he was probably protecting downtown, then I realized the date he made was... I've known Derek for over 30 years, and in that 30-year period of time, I knew Derek first as an organizer of the Neighborhood Association on the Northwest Side. And the common thread has been between then and now, Derek has always had a concern not for just kids, but for families. And those of us who were trying to organize the Northwest Side back in the late 80s and 90s, Derek was a friend. He was concerned. He was a caring police officer. And even today, we continue to support him because Derek supports what we consider are really important pressing family issues. So it's been this 30-year period of continuity with Derek. I have to tell you that I just thank God for him. I thank God that I've known this man. And to me, this man is the type of police officer that I think we all want to have served South Bend, and is a perfect example of what our police department is about. God bless you. Love you. Thank you very much.
My name is Samuel Brown. I live at 222 East Duval Street, South Bend, Indiana. And I represent an organization called Citizens United for a Better Government. You know, there's not much that I can say that haven't already been said about Mr. Dieter. The one thing I like to say though, when Dieter got on patrol, whether it's day or night, the thing that I respect the most about Dieter, the police got a lot of names being pronounced. But whenever they see Dieter, they saw that Dieter. And it was a calmness that came over the roughest areas because Dieter put his heart into the community. And that says a lot. He's old school. Where the big cop used to walk the streets and knew everybody. And that's the compliment to Derek. And I tell you what, I heard a lot of things said about him tonight, but the best compliment he can get is when some thugs say, oh man, that's Dieter. But you know why? You know they're going to get a fair break. You know, I mean, sometimes when policemen come in, there's so much tension, there's so much drama, but it's our man, that's Dieter. They take a sigh of relief. You know, because they knew one thing about Derek. He was firm, and you're going to get a fair break. On behalf of Citizens United, we have a small little award. My brother Jasmine will read the inscriptions on it, and we'll present it to Mr. Dieter.
On behalf of Citizens United for Better Government, we present this award to Derek D. Dieter for your outstanding work in law enforcement and dedicated community service. Good luck in your retirement. You will be greatly missed. February 24th, 2014.
Good job,
Kathy. Whenever they get out of here. When is he announced as mayoral?
Hello, my name is Miriam Aguilar. I live in San Diego, South Brookfield. My pronunciation is not well, but I try my best. In 1996, I know Derek Dieter. He was my angel, he and his wife. My son was 2 months old and we don't have a place to live. And he took us to his house for this. So that's why my family and I want to thank Officer Dieter for coming into our life. He befriended me without understanding our language. No question asked, took me in and showed me a new way of life. Because of his generosity, I have become a fair, better person that I would have never imagined. Therefore, I wish him and all of God's blessings he deserves. He is one that I believe has helped this community in many ways, without discrimination to anyone, and I'm very sure he will be missed in this community. Thank you with all my heart, Susan Dieter, for being my parents when I don't have nobody else in this country.
When they honor you,
My name is Terry Vaughn, pastor of the Kingdom Ministries in South Bend, 341 Lincoln Way West.
you know what I mean?
Been in South Bend about 7 years, working with the kids. And all these kids talk about Derek Dieter. Finally get to meet him, Sunrise Cafe, about 3 years. And I get home, and I find out that my kids know Derek Dieter. After meeting him and partnering him with some things for the youth, do a lot of youth mentoring and organizations myself, but I started running out of money. Derek knew people that was doing some of the things that I wanted to do. They had the money, like Digger Phelps, Crack Center. But seeing him in the neighborhood, my neighborhood, and not in the car but out the car, talking to families, again, knowing the kids on a first name basis, and then talking back to him, that said a lot to me. That was commendable and respectable. And so for that, man, I honor you. Appreciate everything you've been to the city, everything you've done for the city, and who you are in the city. I told my kids I was coming to speak here tonight, and all of them, one by one, he gave me a book. The one that gave me a book, the one that gave me a book. And so it's good to leave a legacy, something that people will remember you by. So I honor you, appreciate you, respect you. You're doing what you do, sir.
I'll be full by the Manila Culver's 2 minutes or so. Joe Lau is my name, 32892 Nature, you drive in New Carlisle. I've been a street cop in this city for 30 years, all in a uniform. Derek's been a part of that life since literally my first hour, when I met him at the Old South Sector on South Michigan Street. The Old South Sector. It stood along the big boulevard in storefront 80s glory within eyesight of places the tax rolls no longer list. Archie's, Chapman's Groceries, Bonnie Doon's Ice Cream was there, the Kitty Cat, Freddy's, the Lamppost, Toasties, Griesbach, Cadillac, and Fat Daddy. Oh, and the Wig Place, the 3 adult bookstores, and the Psychic Reader Advisor. I'm here tonight to join these varied voices which are singing tribute to Derek's career, lots of voices. Mine's a little out of pitch perhaps, but red-blooded and sincere nonetheless. Derek's been my pal and crime-fighting partner for over portions of 4 decades. Our friendship falling somewhere between the Iliad's epic Achilles and Patroclus, and Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. Which one is which, I'll leave for another resolution. Tonight, together Derek and I have survived thousands of roll calls, police calls, and incidents, fights, arrests, wrecks, numbing boredom interspersed with moments of crushing stress, cases, capers, innocent victims, and lots of really, really bad people. There is no entry in the big book of police work that Derek is not only familiar with, but also proficient at. Strong, savvy, who I'd want rushing through the chaos if it were my widowed ma, or my family, or a neighbor on the fearful end of a 911 call for help. Who I'd want rushing through that chaos regardless of who called for help. Or, you see, I have long maintained that an honest American cop like Derek is the least biased soul on the city's payroll. We rush into harm's way the minute a disembodied voice on the radio tells us to, without asking who is it that called, and we help them, we defend them, we protect them, and their property without question. Rich folks and poor, every race and every creed. Derek's durability is part of his resume. Long hours, overtime, hard work, indefatigable. Derek's retirement leaves a vacancy that isn't filled simply by inserting a new rookie into a slot. That's the way the allegorical office cop sees it from afar, from a conference room or a PowerPoint slide. But the front-line street cops template is different, you see, and we replace Derek with difficulty if we do it at all. Quintessential Derek wasn't the last of his kind. He was the only of a kind. This is Derek's first council meeting without his police office day job, and he's no less a vital or committed member. This is a South Ender who is mindful of the city's past glories, present challenges, and future potentials. Happily nostalgic, but without rose-colored distortion. The stakes are high for South Bend, from your council end of things down to mine on the street. Bold leadership is mandatory, and with no time in local government for on-the-job training or the second string. Dieter is the Hall of Famer who's played his entire career in one city, but we're not retiring his number yet.
I'm Leslie Wesley. I live at 25622 Den Trail in South Bend, Indiana. I'm not going to be before you long, but I just have to say, I've been knowing Dieter for a long time, but I'm representing two groups today. One from the Washington High School Parent Group. Your dedication as a parent, your hard work, and your loyalty will never, ever be forgotten. Thank you for trailblazing for those of us that came in as freshman parents that are still there, and you and your wife, Susie, for standing your ground and to help those students that sometimes are misrepresented and underserved. And that leads me to my next point. You're a trailblazer, Derek. And I look at you as a colorblind person because you've never put color first. You've looked at the individual first. And when you're representing youth out there that are underserved and underrepresented, and I'm speaking for those students that can't be here, or those parents, continue to be the dedicated person that you are. Continue to be that Christian man that God would like for you to be. And if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. I appreciated this summer when we had those master camps. And you said, Leslie, I have books for your students. So now that I know that you're retired, I'm going to have you be one of our facilitators this summer. So I'd just like to say thank you and continue to be who you are.
Tanisha Jones, 1137 Academy Place, Ben. Good evening. Giving an honor to God who's the head of my life. I just want to say thank you to Derek's wife and children for sharing Derek with the community. More importantly, to Derek for dedicating his life and giving his all to serving and protecting our community for 39 years. When he asked me to speak, I said sure, that'd be an honorably easy task, until reality sank in and I thought about my fear of public speaking. And with all the support and encouragement he's giving, I couldn't turn down the opportunity to share the perfect example of a respectable person of the law and the great parent that he has been to me. I actually met Derek about 9 years ago during a seatbelt safety check. I can't say that I'm one of the most talkative people in the world, but during that stop, something told me to joke with him and he'd ask for my license and registration. I was due to have my son any day, and while fumbling around in my glove compartment trying to find it, I began to mess with him about making me smash my baby. Once everything checked out and I was free to go, I thanked him and continued down the road. A couple of days later, Derek was in my store as he was offered again before beginning his close for the day. I offered to pay for his stop because the traffic stop was a very positive encounter for me. Some people tend to let their badges go to their head and use them to their advantage because they have authority, but not Derek. I believe that that's one of the reasons he's been so successful. You would have thought that was the beginning of a good friendship. It's very rare in our community that you see minorities forming friendships with officers. Despite the way some communities feel about that and the assumptions that are made when communicating with law enforcement, I was raised by my grandparents on the strong belief that you have to give respect to get it. So as long as I've not been mistreated or wrong, there's no reason to mistreat anyone that I come in contact with. With that being said, I just want to say thank you for all that you've been and continue to be. You've balanced a number of important roles in this community, being the greatest example as far as law enforcement in the city of South Bend. Working on the council, heading security at the code, securing parade routes, delivering books to the neighborhood kids. His attitude is and always has been very positive and encouraging. I thank God for crossing paths with Derek because he has been and continues to be very caring, supportive, dependable, encouraging, no matter if it's from a legal aspect or when I need to know information about school enrollment process for my son, among other things. No matter what I've gone through over the years, I've been able to pick up the phone and call him. And unlike some friends who want to give you the best advice based on what they think you want to hear, I've always been able to count on Derek to give me good advice based on what's right for my situation. In all, I'm extremely happy for Derek and his decision to retire. I've told him quite often that although I knew he was looking forward to this, I was sad and personal because there's not more like him. I just wish that more people could have had the opportunity to cross paths with him. He's definitely one of a kind. Derek, I say, all employers need good people like you. Your success is not a surprise. May you meet glory in your life ahead and best wishes in your retirement.
Mario Napper, 1521 North Huey, South Bend. Derek, this man is a role model to me. He was my hero. I lost my dad when I was 8 years old, and it was very hard for me. I didn't have nobody to look up to or nothing. This man taught me how to play sports better than anybody. Other than basketball, I played soccer, football, lacrosse, hockey, some of everything, and it's because of him right here. You know, now I'm an MMA fighter. You know, that's all I've been doing, fighting all my life. He made sure that I keep myself right. You know, he gave me goals and values to look up to, and I'm very thankful for him being a part of my life, because without him, I don't know where I would end up, you know, and because of him, I can teach my kids something better, you know, and I see myself and I see him in me every day. Like when I go help kids and he invite me to the book signing and stuff like that, that amazes me, because all these years I knew this man over 17 years, he ain't forgot about me yet. You know, it's easy to forget a face, but he never forgot about me. You know, during my hard times, my ups and downs, he always been there for me. And I'm one to use life that changed in this community. And I had to come here, even though I got to go to work, I just had to come here and let you know face to face, I love you for everything that you did for me. I always appreciate it.
I have about 20 pages here. It won't take long. My name's Tim Bennett, 11951 Burbank Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. I grew up on Bowman Street, and South Bend's always been probably one of the most magical places I've ever been around the world, and very proud to call it my home. And when I was a kid growing up, there was Storyland Zoo and Playland Park and the Magic on Miami Street and River Park Avenue and Mishawaka Avenue and Potawatomi Park and the pool. And my favorite place on earth is Howard Park. Lost a lot of teeth there, gave some blood. It's by far my favorite place. Love South Bend. Think about guys like Jim Schweitzer, old cop, and the eternal rookie Ed Friend, and what they influenced me to be in my life. And when I see Derek, you know, I'm not really concerned by how many traffic tickets he wrote, none to me though, thank you, and or how many arrests you made, or shootouts, or how much you and Ron hung out. I just appreciate that you were truly a conduit in the community to make things better. You challenged kids like that to be better men and contribute to the community. And you taught and accepted people for who they are, not who you wanted them to be. I met you probably 30 pounds ago, something like that, and probably 40 pounds, okay. And I met him when I was doing this fundraiser for Camp Millhouse at the Hall of Fame, and he shows up on his bike with these shorts on, man. If you've ever seen him in shorts, he's got the whitest legs, man. They're like glaring, and it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you, man. I mean, little bits of powdered donuts on there in his pockets, and what I got out of meeting Derek and learning about him, and over the 10, 12 years now, is what he says is exactly what's going to happen. And I admire that. I hope one day I can grow up to be like you, and And it's sad you couldn't get anyone to come. I mean, it's sad. I'm embarrassed for you. But I want to thank you on behalf of everybody I know in the city. You're a good steward to the community, and I believe that your next chapter is going to be better than the first. Thank you for your service, and thank you for making this a better place.
My name is Bob Nagel, 324 West 7th Street, Mishawaka, Indiana. I'm here to help honor a great American, a city servant, a wonderful, wonderful person, and a dear friend, but then I heard Fred Froehlich's not going to retire. So, I guess I'll say something nice about my good friend Derek Dieter. We've known each other over 40 years. I think we started out together as delivery men. Back when Derek was in high school and I was in college, we were delivering flowers here in town. And I knew Derek back then, he only had 3 jobs. And he's grown over the years, had more than that. But I've known him so many different ways, as a friend, as a coach, as a dad, as an officer, as a councilman, and he's worn them all very well. I was on the way over tonight thinking about a couple of special things, and I've heard a lot of them mentioned today. By the way, Derek has a new job this summer. He's going to serve as out-of-bounds stakes at Elbel. I've seen those legs as well, but I'm thinking of a night when we did a high school game on Channel 46 at Adams High School, and I was talking to Derek on the hallway. He was working security that night, and a young man was walking down the hall, and Derek called him by name at the end of the hallway, and he said, "Have you been in the weight room this week?" He said, "Twice, Mr. Dieter." And I was very proud of that fact, that in that young man's life there was nobody else to ask him if he'd been to the weight room, ask him if he'd gotten his workouts in, and Derek was doing that. I remember a night at Washington High School when the guys were running the indoor track. The reason I bring up the 2 high schools, there was a lot of misinformation about his involvement with those 2 schools. And to know the truth about what happened is to know the passion that he has for doing as much as he can, whenever he can. And that night in that gymnasium, a young man who had been stabbed here in South Bend died that night, and the coaches called the players over there in summer workouts. There were 67 young men working out in the summer because of activities that have been put together by the coaching staff and Derek Dieter to work out during the summer, to be off the streets, to be doing something positive. And when the coaches told the kids that night about the passing of that young man, he said, "Go find his brother and get him in here. Get him off the street, get him involved in this activity. It doesn't have to be football, it doesn't have to be athletic, but get him involved in something." And Derek's always had a passion for everything he's done. I love passion. I get a chance to cover athletics on a regular basis. You see it in a guy who's a terrific athlete, you see it in a guy who's not a terrific athlete. And athletics allows them all to compete with the passion that God gave them and the ability God gave them. And this guy is a great example of one of the problems I think we have in our society today. Too many people complain about the darkness, not many are lighting fires, or lighting lamps, or lighting candles. He's done that his whole life, and I anticipate he's going to keep doing that. Behind every successful man is a woman who couldn't be more surprised. And Susie should be saluted here as well, but this is a wonderful person who's done a lot for everybody he's touched in his life, and wish him nothing but the best, and I hope he plays more golf in the future than he has in the past couple of years, or at least plays better. So thank you for your time.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Sean Coleman. My legal address is 18483 Brussels Drive, South Bend. I'm pleased to be here to add my voice in praise of Derek's service as a South Bend police officer over many years. What you may not know is that Derek and I are lifelong friends and childhood best pals, and I have to confess I don't ever remember playing cops and robbers, let alone good cop, bad cop. But I know that in a very real way, that Derek has been playing good cop to the citizens of South Bend for the past 39 years. And I would simply like to add my congratulations and my thanks to Derek for serving and protecting.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Raphael Morton, 325 North Studebaker Street, South Bend, Indiana. This is an extreme honor for so many reasons for me to be here tonight, to personally be a part of this recognition to honor Derek's retirement. My personal and professional relationship with Derek goes back over 25 years. As a South Bend Housing Authority Commissioner, I would like to thank Derek for his exceptional dedication to the COPE program, which stands for Community-Oriented Police Enforcement. The South Bend Housing Authority began the program in 1990, which hired off-duty police officers to patrol housing authority properties as a walking patrol secure force. The initial goal of the program was to help make the residents of the South Bend Housing Authority feel more secure by being able to see police officers walking in their neighborhood. The officers were handpicked by the Housing Authority staff. Officers needed specific qualities to be considered. Among those qualities was the ability to interact on a one-on-one basis with residents living in the low-income housing, which the officers would patrol. It began with a commitment to eliminate the illegal drugs and illegal crime in the South Bend Housing Authority area. The program in and of itself was a positive step for this community. However, Derek's personal commitment to this program and young people changed many lives. Last year, I attended an event at the Clark Center which highlighted accomplishments of many of the kids who were part of the COPE program. It focused on the young people that were involved when they were kids and are now young adults who have become role models as well as success stories in their own right. When these young men spoke about the influence Coach Dieter had on their lives, it just reaffirmed how important of a part he has played in them becoming successful adults. Last summer, while I was at a Covaleski Stadium game watching the Silverhawks, and I noticed Derek at the game as well, and by his side was a youngster from the South Bend Housing Authority. Derek introduced me to the young man and explained to him that I was the South Bend Housing Authority Commissioner. While having a conversation, I learned of Derek's ongoing passion and commitment to these young people, to this young person and his family, even yet today. You know what, Derek? Some things never change. I noticed that you were asking this kid the same questions that you asked kids 25 years ago. Are you listening to your mom? Did you do your homework? What kind of grades are you getting? These may seem like simple questions, but to each of these young people, you have taken a vested interest and have changed lives because of it. His passion and commitment for our young people in this community is as strong today as it was 25 years ago. To me, that is just amazing. So Derek, I commend you on your many years of service to our community and to the young people and the families of the South Bend Housing Authority. Congratulations on your retirement.
My name is Antonius Northern. My address is 211 South Michigan Street. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you, and not on behalf of my city, community, neighborhood, or my family. No, I'd like to say thank you from me to you, Mr. Dieter. Thank you for being an example of service. Too often we get bogged down in the difference. Too often we concern ourselves with what separates us from one another. Too often we forget admiration, respect, and integrity are not qualities that require a person to do everything that you like them to do. We do not need to love every decision our soldiers abroad make to tell them thank you for serving our country. And to those of my friends and fellow community members, as well as colleagues, who might ask why I felt it a good idea to celebrate the retirement of a man who once arrested my father, I admit, for a moment I did contemplate not speaking. But I understand, after becoming a father, a teacher, and a man who serves my community, that there will always be choices that will not make everyone happy. But that doesn't mean there isn't work to be done. And Derek, well, I believe he gets that. He understands his community had some work that needed to be done, and from the police force to the city council, he put his best foot forward to get it done. So please join me in applauding a man who is willing to do the work. Congratulations.
Cedric Mitchell, 1730 Broadway, Nashville. Eric, Ethan. Story of my life. I got a lot to say. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough time to say it, but... You know, time, I'll work with you all time.
Continue.
I want to thank you.
We can't hear you, yes.
Hear me now?
Better.
Alright. Well, thank you. Waking me up when I was younger. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to go play no sports. So I lay around, probably watch cartoons, something when I was younger. But I just want to appreciate all that. Started writing, but I wanted to say you and end up being a new chapter, so I got back around. So that's what's that. A lot of years, you know. A lot of years. Long time coming. Disappointed you. But I learned from that mistake. I got kids now. I have no age. I always good thing to be a bad guy. Always, you know, stay positive. I teach my kids to stay positive. I got 15 years old. I'm high school. Doing good. Everything I grown up to do, man, I want to thank you for being a part of that. Thanks, Oliver, for letting me get the extra minute.
Welcome. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Mozetta Horton. I'm 3002 Bonds Avenue, where trouble arrived one summer afternoon. I did have something typed out, but due to all the thousands of people, my phone died, so no. But anyhow, I first heard this man's name from my son Blair, because he was one of the Dieter boys' friends, and they loved the Dieters. And so then years later, I was driving down the street, and he was speaking with Mr. Anthony Scott in the neighborhood, as he probably always did, hanging out in the neighborhood, protecting everyone. And he asked me, did I have any kids? And I said, yes. And he asked me, did my kids like to read? And I was like, yes. But he gave me a book, and it was for my son. And so then he was telling me about the Book It program. So I took the book home and told my son about it. And he loves to go to the Croc, but it wasn't on his list of things to do, to read books to get passes to the Croc. It'd be better just for me to get out of my pocket. But then another day, there were some children that I was babysitting outside playing, and they came in with badges and books. And guess who was outside distributing those? So then Trouble found out where more trouble lived, and this is how he became my buddy. So he's definitely a big part of South Bend, a big positive part of South Bend. And I'm glad that I got to meet you. And I hope that we can do some more book programs together. You got me in trouble at work for, handing out all those books and, motivating all those children. But it was a good thing. And I'm so glad to know you, and I'm happy that, you're going to be applying at Walmart to be a greeter soon. And, but I think that, it'll be good because you actually can stop the criminals at the door. Those ones that are there now can't. So good luck with your retirement, and you and Susie and the kids enjoy all your free time. All right, thank you.
You know what, I would like to join on program with the police chief.
Yes, almost all sound like Angel. But anyway, my name is Nancy Simon, and I live at 630 East Fairview, but I grew up at 923 East Indiana Avenue on the southeast side, a side of town that kind of is forgotten by me. But I first met Dieter when I moved back from Oklahoma. He had just started the program at the South Bend Housing Authority,
and he was picking up my nephews, and they were playing soccer. And so I have a daughter who wanted to play, and even though we didn't live in a housing authority, and I was married, so it's like she had two parents, and we both had good jobs. So she didn't really qualify for the program, but needless to say, Dieter overlooked that, and he actually came all the way out of his way to pick my daughter up on Fairview and let her be a part of that program. And so I just want to thank him, because as for me, it's been really hard for me because I've done a lot in the community and I give, and I've always felt like my kids got cheated because they grew up with a two-parent home and they both worked, so our kids didn't qualify for all the free programs that the city offers for kids in the summer. My kids didn't get to participate in any of that stuff, even though I couldn't afford to pay for it. But anyway, Dieter always found a way of involving our kids and everything, and I just want to say thank you. And he always had my nephews back. He always looked out for my nephews, even when they wasn't doing the right thing. Even now, I have one nephew that's locked up, and he still asks about him. He's like, when he get out, tell him to come see me, because he did sports for Dieter, and he just kind of made a wrong turn, but now he's making a right turn again. And, he's always asking about him. He's like, well, when you get out, tell him to come see me. I told him to get a job, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then Dieter always come by my parents' house, my dad on Indiana, and he'll tell you more about that with his books. But he always stop by and check on my parents and, ask them how they doing, what's going on in their neighborhood, because my parents been in their home for 46 years, and so they've seen a lot. And it's not a lot of people, John Williams, Peter, Butch, it's just a few that always take time to come over there and ask the people that's been in that neighborhood for years what's going on and what needs to happen, or, do you have any concerns, checking on our parents. Even when he wasn't patrolling that area, he still found time to come over there and look out for our parents. And I just want to say thank you for that, and thank you for everything you've done for my nephew. And I'm glad that I got to meet you.
First, before I start, I want to tell you, I was raised up back in the late 30s, 40s, and 50s. Okay, my name is Jimmy Scale, that's my daughter. I live at 923 East Indiana since 1967. And the reason I'm there is I migrated around looking for a place to settle with my family. The last place I stopped in Miami, the crime was so high, so bad, police riding bikes, I said, let me out of here. So I ended up in North Liberty for about 6 months, working South Bend, so I moved to South Bend. A year later, I rented a apartment, 2 bedrooms. It cost me about $75 a month. Found a house. $52 a month, 4 bedrooms. I had 6 kids, but I didn't have 6 at the time, but I had 4 at the time. So we've been here ever since. But the reason I brought up that I was raised in Mississippi is because you know where I'm coming from. I remember having a meeting, I was at a meeting at Broadway Christian Church, and they came in 1 and they 2. The chief of police was there, singing at it. But anyway, we were talking about police officers. And, being where I was from, you would understand why I was there telling about police officers. How they passed by when I waved, they turned their head. So that's wrong. But anyway, he was telling about different types of cops. I said, all I want is an honest cop to come down and respect my neighborhood and try to help us. Never thought I'd see it. So I met this man. That is, we said police officer. He wore a gun, he wore a badge. He was a man. That's what I like. A real man. Okay? That's why some black people like it. So many people come to my house pathetic because I've been here so long. I have never, ever, one time, heard a bad word about it. That is good.
May it please the council, my name is Aldo Witzel. May it please South Bend Committee, my name is Aldo Witzel. I live in Chicago, Illinois, but I grew up 606 South Falcon, Privilege Falcon in Western. I'm part of the Impalas. I'm an attorney, I'm the owner and sole partner of my law firm in Chicago downtown. I'm part of the original Impalas, pretty much. We grew up playing soccer. Gentleman said he never heard any bad things about Dieter. I did. Pretty much how it worked out was he picked us up, and obviously, Mexican, our culture, we love soccer, growing up soccer. And my brother right behind me, he'll tell you the same. But then we find out, this guy wants to come for the Plants team, and I see him, like, this guy's white, Dad. We don't know anything about soccer, and sure enough, our first couple games, didn't know that much about soccer, Peter. But that didn't matter, right? It gave us an opportunity. It gave us, privilege on Saturday mornings to get up, as Cedric was talking about. And, I don't know why he did it, but he did it, right? He had 5 kids of his own. And he still was out there Saturday mornings early, picking us up, taking us to games. I think he took my brother to Denver. But pretty much I'm just here to say congratulations, Peter. Thanks for taking us out, giving us the attention, and yeah, just being there for us. And I wish you all the best, and there'll be more years to come.
Always people with past, that has nothing to do with you.
Hi, my name is Alfredo Palacios, 52606 Highland Drive, South Bend. My story is a little different. To me, Dieter, most people here know of the service that he's done. I was privileged to be touched by the service that he's done. I grew up in a single parent household, and just completely changed my life when I met Dieter. It's mainly about him, but so I'm not going to go into details, but what I want to say is Dieter really completely opened my path, changed my life, and I am so grateful to know Dieter. I'm blessed, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Go ahead.
My name is Nathan Cannon, South Bend police officer. Most people know me as Butch, what Nancy said.
Or Francis.
Or that, whatever. 701 West Sample with 1055 LS my address. I didn't want to do this. I tried to avoid him. I didn't want to say goodbye. But no one can know until you have to put your life on the line with someone. And one of those shootouts, it was me and him. He was there. I never had to look over my shoulder. I didn't have to worry about who had my back and anything else. Derek was there. Hate to say goodbye, but that means I'll be right back. But it's been a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you.
My name is Walter Stitt, 2915 Erskine Boulevard. I just met Derek last summer. He is in another thing you forgot to put in that citation. He's involved in what's called honor flights. It takes World War II veterans, flies them to Washington, D.C. for the day so they can visit the World War II Memorial and other memorials and the famous cemetery and things like that. Derek came to my house along with Joe, who was here a minute ago, and parked their cars out in front of my house. He called me earlier and said he wanted to talk to me for a minute. He came in and asked me to get involved in this because it takes money to do that, and Derek was involved in raising that kind of money. Well, I was pleased to do that, and he also got me a couple of tickets to the ball game this summer, so I still owe him. But I got to tell you one more thing, then I'll shut up and go home. But when Derek came with Joe and they parked out in front of my house, and we came in and we talked for 15 minutes or so, and then they left. And I could hardly wait, and it didn't take more than 2 or 3 minutes. One of my neighbors called and said, "Okay, what kind of trouble are you into now?" But it really has been a delight to have known Derek these days. And I'm not at all surprised at all the things he's done. And I hope you have a great time as a retired man. I know they're not going to let you lie around.
Applause for Walter. He was with Honor Flight, and that's how I found him, by researching people involved with that. But he landed on Normandy Beach back in World War II in the 3rd Armored Division, and was one of the forefront people of saving our country in a tank, which was about as big as this podium. So I think
Good evening. Tony McWilliams, 724 North Francis Street, South Bend. I am the Washington High School wrestling coach, former LaSalle wrestling coach, and assistant football coach there. I was honored to meet with Dieter roughly 10 years ago when I got to coach all three of his sons in wrestling. At one season, Mr. Dieter and his wife bought our whole wrestling team, 30-plus kids, sweatshirts and shorts for the season. And when I thanked him, he said, "Thanks for what you do for my boys and for these kids in this community." And to me, that's like Superman saying, "Thanks for being a hero." I will continue to keep giving to my community and to these youth, but I don't know if I can ever top what he did. But as long as I'm down on that list below him, I'm still doing a good thing, and I appreciate everything he has done for our city. Thank you.
Theodore Kruska, reside at 929 North Howell Street, South Bend. Just here to show my gratitude for Dieter, to my wife, so much in middle school, with this program, introduced me to soccer. Ended up going to high school, doing soccer, 4-year varsity, continued playing with him for years, indoor, outdoor leagues. And like I said, the trip to Washington did a lot for us and our community. So I'm ready to be an outstanding person.
It took me 39 years. Okay. John Williams, I live at 25125 Penn Oak Drive. I didn't know you were that good of a cop, man. He wrote that proclamation himself, didn't he? Reverend Ross, you got a great idea with him writing the book. The only thing, there's some things you just can't put in print. Well, and I stand on behalf of myself and my brother Norval, who has gone on to be with the Lord. And there's some things about Derek that a lot of you will never know. Some of the bad things about Derek that you will probably never know that my brother taught him. And he'll tell you, and that's, I guess that's a good thing, because he taught him a lot of good stuff also. That's how he turned out to be as good as he is. Because of some of the things, I'm going to pat my brother on the back because he did an outstanding job for the police department in this community. But this was one of his mentors. And, I love him as much as a man can love another man and still be a man. God bless you. Want to stand here, Dennis?
International comes on at 9 o'clock, and I'm wasting my time here. I can't believe it. The reason I'm here today is because Derek sent me a 16-page email and wanted me to read some of the important parts of it. He convinced me to come here. And remember, I was working when you sent me these 16 pages. It starts off like this. Derek, Ron, you there? Yeah, I'm here. I just got done with police call involving a 5-year-old girl refusing to go to daycare. We sent 4 police officers there, and 25 minutes later, we finally got it. Derek said, hated those calls when I was working the street. Any weapons involved? Wow, 4 officers. Anyone call for SWAT? Well, anyway, Derek, I just want to say, why do you send me emails while I'm working? Aren't you supposed to be in Mexico on your retirement vacation? Derek, they wouldn't let us in the country, some crap about having passports. Can you believe that? People trying to get out of Mexico and I can't even get in. Should have gone to Canada instead. Was Susie mad, Derek? Well, I'm not sure. A lot of people at the border were telling us stories about people getting kidnapped, held for ransom by guerrillas. That would have been really funny if they had kidnapped us for ransom. Can you imagine 3 hours of Susie? The kidnappers would pay me money to take her home. Okay, Derek, what do you want from me? Can you come to the council meeting on Monday, the 24th, and say something nice about me? My answer was no. Derek, why? Because. Derek, why because? Because I can't think of anything good to say about you. Derek, says to me, 25 years of being best friends, you got nothing? Me, of course, my answer was going to be, yeah, I like to tell the truth, not make up stories. And then there's a pause in the email, and you can hear them laughing. What if I paid you to come? Ron says, how much? Derek says, $150 or some property. Ron says, I'm not taking any property from you, you don't own anything. Derek says, okay, a check for $150. I say to him, no way I'm going to be a victim of fraud by taking a check from you. Susan told me that you only have $120 in checking between both of you. Derek says, all right, cash. After the meeting, I'll borrow the money from Fred Furlick. He's late. Then we'll meet at my house and I'll pay you. Ron's answer is, Derek, you've been drinking. I'm not going to your house. Nobody knows where you live. You've moved 6 times in the last 8 years. I'm starting to get a headache, Derek. What do you want me to say about you? Derek pauses and he says, why don't you say this about me? Derek is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thread, clean, and sexy. Derek, I'm not going to tell everybody that you're sexy. You're not sexy. Derek says, no, and he says, pretty sure Karen White thinks I'm sexy. $50 extra and you start crying while you're saying great stuff about it. Derek, I'm not going to cry. Derek says, okay, stop for like 15 seconds. Make it sound like you're too broken up to talk anymore. Then the email goes on and on. Page 9 of the email. Ron, Dr. Furlick must be blind. Did you see the colors of siding on his new house? Aaron Furlick, his son, must have been mad at him when his dad picked out the colors with him. Looks like a 2-story brown brownie. Page 11, Derek says, John Woody is out of his office. Every Friday he's at the day spa. Wednesday he's tanning. Tuesday and Thursday he's getting his hair done. Page 14, Dr. Barner was riding his motorcycle. I saw him wearing a black beater t-shirt. You should have seen his arms. Dr. Barner needs to start working out, lifting weights. Valerie Shea has bigger arms than Dr. Barner. Page 15, Derek talks in his email about getting 25% off his copay by going to Susie's gynecologist to have his colon checked. Back he says his colon is clean, one of the cleanest in the universe. One of my stories about Derek, I can give you 3 hours worth. It'll make you laugh, make you cry, and you just say, wow. Derek, enjoy your retirement. Congratulations. Gonna miss you, buddy. Don't want the money anyway. Keep that colon clean.
Hi, Jeff Ray, President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of St. Joe County. Hate to follow Ron, but just wanted to offer a few congratulations on behalf of the business leaders in our community who are grateful for the good work of Derek and so many of the men and women of the South Bend Police Department over the years for keeping our businesses and our homes and our families safe. First, I'd like to thank Derek for welcoming me in as I transition into a new role here, helping me understand the good people of South Bend and the great things that are happening over here. I really appreciate that opportunity there. Derek's a fine police officer. I've been proud to have somebody like Derek serve during my time as mayor. One last personal note, my first interview, I watched Derek from the sidelines for many years, got a chance to know him personally during the deaths of several police officers, and I got a real snapshot into Derek's character, and I really appreciate his great service during that difficult time in our community. So thanks so much, Derek.
My name is Matt Bolina. I'm at 1207 Sunnymead. I work for Purdue University. I run the local 4-H program here in South Bend and in St. Joe County. My story goes back about 20 years ago. I was working for American Turners out on Ironwood Road. I was the director of soccer for our indoor soccer complex. And that day, 2 uniformed officers walked in, and I thought, oh, there must have been a skirmish on a Friday night game that they were talking about. But instead, Derek talked about he's got a group of kids he wants to bring to the soccer arena. And I thought, okay, I've got space, I've got some house teams, I can put one or two of these kids on a house team and they can play. Derek says, no, I've got a whole van load. Matter of fact, I think he had 2 van loads, but he put them in one van. So we made space for him. I said, it's going to require the feet. They're all going to have to fit the right age, and they have to look uniform. So that first game showed up, and they looked uniform. They were all in white T-shirts and tennis shoes. And in the soccer world, back around 1993, you have to understand the World Cup was coming to the USA. So when it comes to soccer gear, we had $120 shoes, beautiful uniforms, great stuff going. And Derek brings in kids in T-shirts and tennis shoes. And it was neat because these kids, all of them had skill, though some of them amazing what they could do, but they had heart. They had a drive. And I don't know what this team is, Housing Authority at the time, 20 years ago, I didn't know what that was. And I didn't know what they were offering, but I knew what Derek was offering these kids, and it was impressive. The kids played hard, and I'll never forget the day we were lucky enough in our community to have a guy named Paul DiBernardo in our community. He was a 2-time national champion and the NCAA College Player of the Year in soccer out of Indiana University. And Paul was one of my top referees, and he came forward during one of the games of the Empower game, and he said, Matt, it's about time you have some real soccer in here. And Paul wasn't talking about the skill level again. What he was talking about was the drive these kids have. So I don't know what the Housing Authority offered them, but I know what Derek Dieter offered them. And you offer them an incredible opportunity, and I think they just excelled. And you heard some of that tonight from some of the folks. For myself, what I learned from Derek, 20 years now in doing youth development, I'm thankful because what he taught me was you have to give kids who don't have, you have to give them opportunity. So thank you very much, and I wish you well.
Rebecca Kaiser, 913 Diamond Avenue. Derek, it was nice to see Sean Coleman here because otherwise I would have been the person who's known you the longest. Derek and I grew up a block and a half from each other, so we've known each other for 50 years. I know, hard to believe, isn't it? Families were intertwined with different activities, and I just have to say this. We've heard things like old school. We've seen young people in this community who got to see a different way of life because of this. Sometimes we haven't always agreed on things, but God bless his little heart. Because I want to tell you, you're not going to find anybody who didn't take his job as a police officer serious, and at the same time, you were there for the kids to show them a different way. And you knew about bringing community into police work, and you have played a very
Hello, Council. My name is Jessica Dieter. I live at 5178 West Cleveland Lane. He's the change that you wish to see in the world. This is something that my dad has done and taught me and has brought to the city every single day of his life. He'd give you the shirt off his back, of course, but he'd call a press conference to announce it first.
I should do it.
I want to say that I never was asked to go on a SWAT call, but I remember in high school sleeping in bed, and I heard a pager go off, and I knew there was a SWAT call, and I would hear my dad get dressed, and I would start praying because, well, he was going out in the middle of the night on a SWAT call, and God only knows what was going to happen. So I would hear the door creak open a little bit, and I think it was him taking a peek in just to look at me for one, hopefully not last time, but I remember praying, and it really taught me how to value and appreciate and to really take every day and do what I could with it. And so one of the amazing things that he taught me was that it's better to light one small candle than to burn seven. So One thing to lead with is something from Babe Ruth, and I hear the cheers when they roared and the cheers when they echoed. So if you'll humor me, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek.
That's nice.
Don't bring anything, Bob.
My name's Bob Gulp. I had the pleasure of meeting Derek in 1990 when I was hired on the police department. Worked a year with him in patrol, then had the privilege of being selected to work on SWAT with him for 17 years. That was a good 17 years. Well, 17 years for me. He retired before that. He was my team leader when I got on. That's good. Since during violence left. Thank you. SWAT was a good time.
That's his last team.
Duty, honor, courage, all that stuff. We got to train new officers. Had a lot of fun doing that. Most where we got to role play and meet the aggressors and the new officers with the arrest them.
We can't send two of these. And
again, the other part of the job is actually going out and dealing with situations and making sure nobody got hurt. Making sure they needed that was after that, also. I just want to say it was my
I'm Charles Bryant, 707 Harrison Avenue. I had a lot to say about Derek, but all I can say right now is he must have been up all night calling everybody. But to Derek, you've had all of your accolades from everybody, so all I'm going to do is say yes.
For 39 years, my father has served and protected the city. I have been asked more times than I can count if it's hard having a police officer as a dad. My answer is no. It came with many perks growing up, actually. For instance, my breakfast would frequently consist of donuts and Yoo-hoo. Breakfast of champions. I got to spend many of my days in the press box at pickup from stadium when my dad was working there, always doing my classic baseball hat full of ice cream. Thank you, of course. I got to meet a diverse group of people when he coached for Housing Authority, some of who I'm still friends with today. But the biggest perk is that I get to wake up every morning being proud of who I came from. I have learned many things from my father. I have learned what it means to work hard and to show dedication. I have learned what it means to love your family and to support them even if you don't always agree with their actions. I have learned that I cannot break my ankle and continue to play softball, even if my dad thought I could just run it up. But I always appreciate his encouragement in all that I do. Most importantly, I have learned that no matter what I do, not everyone is going to like me. Bad people, despite all the good that we may do, will still have bad things to say, but it's how you deal with it that determines the kind of person you are. You've been called many things, a police officer, a city councilman, things that I will not repeat. But to me, I simply call him Dad, and I could not be prouder to do so.
All I need now is Sister Arlene and all of my grade school teachers to come here. But thanks to all that came and spoke tonight. Thank my mother for coming up from Florida tonight.
Just arrived at 7:20.
Thank you very much. And if there is any good in my life, it came from my parents and the way I was raised. In my mind, that was a whole different era when you were punished, you were spanked, and you learned your lesson. So all the discipline that they showed me, hopefully I pass it on to my children. I thank my wife Susie for raising my three sons and my older daughters. I think the most important thing you can ever do in life, it isn't a policeman, it's not a lawyer, it's not a doctor, it's not a politician, it's being a good parent. And I think that's some of the things, some of the young men that spoke today that I was able to be involved in. There's several kids that come to mind of a 10-year-old kid who was playing soccer with us toward the end of the game. went to the bathroom by himself in the middle of the field. It wasn't because of the academics, or the athletics. He was going home, and he knew it could possibly be killed when he went home because his mother and sister told some gang members that he had found one of the guns used in a homicide, and he turned it over to the police. And then one of the kids' pictures who was in the video came to our house when we still lived on Portage and had some financial problems, so I think we gave him $20 and we're going to get a job. But he never repaid the money back because a week later he was dead. He had hung himself in Memorial Park. And a week later, his brother called me and said he wanted to commit suicide, so I met his brother and asked, what is this about? And when they were growing up, their father molested them every way you could, and this kid who was 18 at the time of his death, and God bless him because he was the catcher on our Babe Ruth baseball team, and we were horrible, and he probably ran 5 miles a game because he was a catcher, and our pitchers threw like Dave Warner, and there was 20 to 40 wild pitches a game, and he had to go back. But the stories of these kids, of a 10-year-old boy who's laying in his room, and his mother comes to give him a kiss on the forehead and hug him and talk about his baseball game, and gets in the bed with him to cuddle, and then she puts a gun to his head and shoots him. And she kills herself. And the poor young man lays in that bed, unable to move, with his dead mother on him. So again, it's something that the policeman, it takes not anybody special by any means. It takes a lot of things to go through as an officer, the things you see daily as an officer, and being able to go from 0 to 120 in the blink of an eye, to defend yourself, to defend others, and do things. So for all the police officers that I've served with, the people like Norman Williams and Ron Marciniak and Larry Bennett, that taught me, especially Mr. Watson at the Housing Authority. We had several conversations. He was the catalyst of what we did at the Housing Authority with the youth. And it was him that would tell me that he has never seen an officer, a white officer, able to talk to black kids in the house. And he was very upfront on the importance of that. And I don't know, with all the, I guess, the fortunate times that I should have been killed on the police department, which is a lot, with shootings and car crashes and whatever, that I don't know if the greater good that was given to me, if there is any, to go on and hopefully touch some of these kids. So that's all I really wanted to do, is to be a part and help people. And it's just kind of like the motto that I try to adhere, and there's a famous football player who wrote a book, and that's the way I try to live my life. God is first, my friends and family are second, and I am third. So thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody's time. I know. How do we, attorney, do we want to combine both of them? Or
Sure, go right ahead.
She's going to help me combine both of these two, real quick. And so, we're going to, in a sense, deal with Resolution 1402. And,
well, John, read the title.
Can you read that? We're going to vote on them together.
1402, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly thanking and honoring Council Member at Large Derek D. Dieter for diligently serving as Council President from 2009 through 2013.
Thank you. Where South Bend Common Council was that Council Member Derek D. Dieter was elected to serve in the council in 2003 to represent the citizens of the 1st Councilmember District, and whereas in 2008, Councilman Member Dieter was elected by the council members to serve as chairperson of the Committee of the Whole, and during this tenure has sponsored many significant legislative initiatives, and whereas in 2009, Councilman Medina was first elected council president and was re-elected council president at each of the council organizational meetings in 2010, 2011, 2012, and 2013, making him the longest-serving council president in recent history of the city of South Bend, Indiana. And whereas under Councilman Medina's leadership as council president, he has worked with the council members, the city administration, and the office of the city clerk to promote upgrades to various needed technology equipment in both the council chambers and council informal meeting rooms. And whereas Councilman Medina sponsored many legislative initiatives, including but not limited to anti-loud noise ordinance regulations, the Stun Gun ordinance regulations, co-sponsored the Minority and Women's Business Enterprise Diversity Development Program ordinance regulations, co-sponsored public safety moped ordinance regulations, just to highlight a few. And whereas Council President Peter worked hard to be elected as the councilman at March of 2011, and dedicated his energies to make sure that 2012 would be a smooth transition year between the outgoing Common Council and the new Common Council. On January 1, 2012, 4 new council members began their public service to the city of South Bend in the 1st District, 3rd, 4th, and 1 council member at large. President Dean hosted informal get-togethers and many meetings with each reflecting his big enthusiasm to be an effective and action-oriented public servant. He stressed that council protocols and regulations should be studied, updated, and followed in order to better serve all the citizens of South Bend. Now therefore be resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, on behalf of Section 1. On behalf of all of the citizens of the City of South Bend, Indiana, the Common Council hereby publicly thanks and commends Councilmember at Large Derek D. Dieter as the longest-serving council president in recent history of the City of South Bend, Indiana, with his 5 years of dedicated leadership. Section 2. The South Bend Common Council recognizes as public honors Councilmember at Large Derek Dieter, who has provided innovative direction and vision as council president from 2009 through 2013, often during difficult and challenging times. Under Council President Dieter's leadership, many significant public safety regulations have been implemented for the greater good of our community. He championed many reduced council protocols and greater awareness of roles and duties of the legislative branch of local government has been awakened in order to carry out the Common Council's mission and spirit. Section 3. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption by the council and approved by the board. Just taking over our council president this year, you really don't understand sometimes until you walk in somebody's shoes. And then you start understanding when the telephone starts coming your way and the news media starts coming your way and everything else starts coming your way, what it must have been like to have to deal with this for the last 5 years. I've just dealt with it for the last 8 weeks, and it's been amazing. To just think about the last 5 years is more than amazing. And so I really appreciate our Council President Derek Dieter over the last few years. He and I spent a lot of time on the phone over the last 2 years especially. And 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, first calls in the morning, just talking. And it helps you to really understand the person, not just as a political person, but as a person himself. We do have a life, we do have understanding of each other. And so while tonight I want to thank this audience, especially our guests who have come for other bills. You've taken the time to sit here for 2 hours. But when somebody has served 39 years and has been council president for 5 years, it's nice to just pause for a few minutes to celebrate somebody who's given their time and their dedication to the city. And so, as we start briefly, we'll go down from 1st District all the way through Ms. Karen White, just to share a word from our council persons before we vote on both these resolutions together. By the way, the other two, is there anybody with my use meeting tonight? Seeing that, the other 2 resolutions are going to be moved on, and so we've already skipped those 2, so we do have some time. We're going to make some time this week. So start with Councilman Tim Scott. No, we're going to move on. Yeah, we're going to move those, we're going to come back. Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. Next, no. I just want to thank you for your leadership and guidance. Following you at the 1st District, you've been a big help in allowing me to understand what is expected, and also thank you for your guidance in my first campaign as well. Appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, a lot of people said a lot.
mindful. Took quite a bit of time to do it, but that shows the amount of time that you spent working for the community. So I want to say thank you for your service, and God bless you, and to you and your family, and look forward to serving with you for the next 2 years.
Derek, thank you. I have a tremendous amount of respect for policemen. I think that they are vital to any community that wants to grow, and I respect and admire your dedication to as being a policeman. Thank you.
It took me about 5 minutes after I first met Derek to realize the guy has boundless energy, boundless empathy for the people with whom he deals with, whether it's a frustrated council member or someone on the street. Over the years, I've known a number of police officers, and by and large, they spoke very highly, and we're happy to have Derek at their side or have their back as a commitment required. So it's been the last roughly 4 years a great opportunity to have Derek working with me on the council and with other members of the council, and I don't know where he gets the energy, but it's there and it's sincere. And one of the most poignant comments I think I've heard is the fact that, and I think I noticed it right away, but sometimes you kind of step back and go, am I really seeing this? Is a gentleman who's absolutely colorblind. He deals with people as people. And I can't tell you how much I know other folks respect that. I certainly do. And I think it's a mark. If he's not remembered for anything else, I think that is important. Because in this town, in this day, in this community, I think that's terribly important. So congratulations, Derek, and we'll probably have some other words later, okay? Derek, thank you for your service to South Bend, and I hope you enjoy your time.
I don't know where to begin. I've had the opportunity of working very closely with Derek Dieter, and I've had the opportunities as well as to share office with him. I never said he was sexy. But just really, I thank you for your ability to touch the lives of individuals within our community, especially the children, and now the young adults that have come before the council of sharing their stories in regards to the ways in which you've touched their lives. And indeed, it takes a very special person to be able to do that, but for a police officer to really connect and to engage the community and to be colorblind is very, very exciting. And it's exciting because it points to the fact that it can be done. And so I'm looking forward to working with you. I can say a lot about Derek. I question his childhood. He has a sense of humor that's beyond words, but I really, really enjoy working with you, and I look forward to working with you during the next 2 years as well. Thank you so much.
I think listening to everyone who came up tonight says it all. Meeting the kids that you've raised almost as your own is humbling for somebody who didn't quite know the extent of what you did every day. I thank you for putting yourself in harm's way for 39 years to protect myself and fellow residents. So thank you very much for all you've done.
At this time,
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt by acclamation 0414 and 0614.
second. When you did that, we have one here. You gave it here? I'll just go first. It's 14.
I'm sorry.
You have that for the mayor.
Okay. 1414 and 1402.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Again, we congratulate you.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're supposed to go down there. What is the motion to move the resolutions? The motion is to table these resolutions? So let's move forward. Continue? Okay.
Motion to continue 1401 and 1410.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Representing the administration is the mayor. And so I believe he's here. I don't see him. And also, we just wanted everybody to note, all the council members to please note that in the next few weeks, the administration will be contacting each one of you to set up times to meet with you, to go over each one of our districts. So please start thinking about scheduling out times, whether it's during the week, evenings, or weekends, so you can meet with the administration to tell what's going on in your individual districts. So please be prepared when they call you to look at that. Everybody has a copy of the enhanced communication that we're talking about. We sent that out to everybody, and we want to follow that as the mayor's team, especially in the light of the transition, to make sure everybody is key and we move forward. Now,
Are we going to do the swearing in of
wow. Now at this time, before we move in, we have some people who have waited and they need to be sworn into our standing committees. So we'll turn this over to John Wardy.
President Davis, there is a couple bills that were continued over as well. I don't know who's here. Bills.
Yes.
You may want to announce which ones were continued over. Maybe one, I'm not sure.
That is fine. 14. If you're here for bill 14 and 15, do we need 14, 15 has been continued indefinitely? And 14, 15?
No.
17 and 18. 14, 15, 17, and 18. All of those will be continued later on in this meeting. So if you're here for those have been done too. Trying to move forward and catch up. Alrighty, now we're ready for those who need to be sworn in. If you are applying for a standing committee, I'd like for you to get ready and listen to City Clerk John Vorty.
Okay, I've got 4 people who could be sworn in tonight for council committees. According to what I have here, it would be Llewellyn Webster, Larry Clifford, Chris Hoff, and Kathleen Kennedy. If you could come up and...
We don't have to stand up. We don't have to stand up. Raise your hand. We don't have to stand up. I don't have to stand up. I'm being sworn in. I tell them
if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Indiana, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of a citizen member of the Park Committee. So help me God. Congratulations all. Thank you.
We welcome you to our committees and we look forward to working with you throughout the year. You can come around and shake everyone's hand real quick. And we'll make sure.
Email addresses.
Welcome. That was 57 parts. I think you can. 57 Motion to resolve to the committee hall. All in favor, say aye. It is carried. Thank you.
We'll get you. Thanks, John.
Okay, guys, with your permission, we can roll here.
Committee of the Whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council meeting where the council sits as a committee. Proposed ordinances are read by title only by City Clerk John Bordy. Reports are then verbally given by the chairperson of the council standing committee to which the proposed ordinance was sent for an advisory review and recommendation. If the proposed ordinance is a zoning ordinance, a report from a staff member of the area plan will be given. In all other situations, the formal presentation on the proposed ordinance will immediately follow the committee report and then the formal presentation followed by a public hearing. We ask that everyone turn their cell phones and other electronic devices to the silent mode. Additional rules governing the Committee of the Whole are set forth in a brochure available on the railing, on the table over there here in the council chambers. I now ask City Clerk John Bordy to read Bill number 414.
414. Public hearing on the bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 17, Article 2, Section 17-27.1 of the South Bend Municipal Code to increase waste discharge rates from 6 cents to 15.1 cents per gallon.
Councilman Varner, the Utilities Committee met earlier today. What is the report?
The Utilities Committee had a public hearing on Bill 0414 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Chairman, Councilman Varner. I now ask for the formal presentation for Bill 414.
Eric Horvath, 13th floor of this building. In front of you is an ordinance for bulk septic waste at our treatment plant to establish a rate of 15.1 cents per gallon of discharge to the treatment plant. The previous rate of 6 cents is set in 2004. This rate of 15.1 cents is essentially taking it forward with the rates as they've increased for all of our other users. It would essentially be 15.1 cents per gallon. So that's what we're requesting today.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Horvath? Thank you. We'll now open the meeting up to public. Those wishing to speak in favor, please come to the podium. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of Bill 414, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, those wishing to speak in opposition for Bill 414, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, the public portion is now closed, and the council portion shall commence. I ask for a motion on Bill 414, please.
I make a motion that Bill 04-14 sent to full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Bill 414 will go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Moving on to Bill 514. I ask City Clerk John Bordy, please read Bill 514.
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of South Bend and the South Bend Public Transportation Corporation, and further appropriating $972,500 from the COLIP Fund, number 404, to participate in a compressed natural gas fueling facility project and its operation pursuant to the interlocal agreement.
This afternoon, there was a joint committee meeting with the Personnel and Finance Committee and the Public Works and Property Vacation Committee. Councilman Henry Davis, may I have a committee report on that bill? I, being the chair of Personnel and Finance, I will state that there was a favorable recommendation for that bill. So,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No problem. So, for Bill 514, may I please have a presentation from the presenter? Eric, you need to just stay in the front row.
In front of you is an ordinance that does two things. One, approves the interlocal agreement between the city and South Bend Public Transportation Company. Secondly, approves appropriation for the amount of $972,500 out of our COLA fund. This is being done to build a fast-fill compressed natural gas station that will be matched through Department of Energy funds that South Bend Transportation Corporation has received through a grant in the amount of $951,500. Total plant cost is expected to be a little over $1.9 million. We've recently converted, as many of you know, 4 of our trash trucks to compressed natural gas, and we're seeing tremendous results both from an environmental perspective as well as monetary perspective. We've continued to buy gas instead of at $3.39 per gallon for diesel. We're buying it at 73 cents per gallon for diesel gallon equivalent at essentially for compressed natural gas. We are also currently getting a 50 cents per gallon rebate, which gets us to 23 cents a gallon for gas, which is incredible. These, you see more and more synergy. I was just looking at actually, Muncie just recently put one in Indiana that's converting to CNG vehicles. It works really well when you have high mileage vehicles that are locally that just serve an area. One of the downsides is that there are not a lot of stations right now out there that you do fast fill. The trucks that we have right now, solid waste trucks, are slow fill. And so when they park at night, they fill all night. And by the morning, about 2/3 full, which is plenty for what they want to ship. But this would allow us to move in a much more aggressive manner to convert these vehicles and other city vehicles and see that savings on a number of different vehicles. With the capital costs included in the CNG retrofits as well as capital costs for the fast fill station, we numbers show about a 5-year payback for the city that after 5 years we'll be seeing those savings come directly back to the city and we'll sort of take back the capital costs we put in up front. We also have, as part of the interlocal agreement, an agreement to profit share with South Bend Transportation Company. 50% of all profits will be split between, the profits will be split 50-50 between the city and South Bend Transportation Company. The last thing I'd like to say is that not only is it good for our pocketbook, but it's good for the environment. We're seeing CNG vehicles going much cleaner. They have about 40% reduction in CO2 emissions, about 20-30% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. And so, we'll agree with that. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, are there any questions for Mr. Horvath?
Sure.
Yes. First Eric and then Henry.
Is John here? Wyszynski? No. Not that I don't like you. Our energies are. You know Mr. Berg isn't here? Do you know is there going to be any, what I'm concerned about is the police vehicles. Is there any performance that is downgraded or any other particulars with that we feel?
We've been working with the police department on that, and they've had a vehicle that's been test driving. We're actually looking at a couple of different options there. One of the issues that we're getting feedback on is trunk space, because they have the front
Way too much.
that you need to fit in the trunk. So we found a model that's got kind of an area in the back that's back that we can put CNG tanks in. So that's what we're looking at right now. But these are dual fuel, and They do run on gasoline as well, but CNG is a version kit that we put on it. So our normal operation, we will be operating about 90% CNG and about 10% gasoline on the
Might be him, you might get that.
The performance in terms of speed is supposed to be...
Who test drove it on? Did the policeman take it during the shift, or was it somebody?
I apologize, I don't know, there was a couple of them that were looking at it.
What I'm saying, real policemen working the shift were using the car as opposed to somebody there. All it is great. I'm talking about somebody going to calls, taking a person to see if everything works.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Davis?
Sure. Again, I'd like to obviously thank you guys for further along for that resolution that passed a couple years ago. I think this is going to be a great idea for the city of Indianapolis, Northern Indiana, area, with CNG. The question I do have about it, and I talked about this earlier, when we talked about the savings of the dollars that are there, because this is the reason why I was being promoted earlier, also with the city of South Bend, but hopefully the school corporation got on. Well, obviously they couldn't or they didn't want to, whatever happened with that. It was water under the bridge, but the point is that it was talked about and the efforts were pushed forward because of the savings, the cost savings, and also the environmental effect, but the cost savings was, my primary focus. And so making sure that we pay attention to the dollars that we are actually saving, that we're going to save, because we know we will be saving them, and making sure that those dollars are being looked upon as dollars to either a reinvestment, either as vehicles, or maybe not, or some other projects that make more sense. You don't want that to get swallowed up in a revenue fund, and then may go towards people's raises again, or something that, may not necessarily be more helpful. So I would like to actually open up for more conversation later on to see how we can earmark those dollars for maybe a special project. Maybe it goes to a park fund to develop things that need to be developed, that haven't been developed. Maybe it goes to something that really needs some attention here. Maybe it goes to the curb and sidewalk program. I don't know. But what I do know is that there's going to be a savings, and we need to pay attention to where the dollars go.
We will track the savings, certainly on most of our energy programs, and we report back later on what those savings are. We've been tracking it on the trash truck side, pretty good time how many miles they're doing, what miles they're going to get, and how much gas they're using.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we will now turn to the public portion. Anyone from the audience wishing to speak in favor of Bill 514, please come to the podium.
My name is Kathleen Pettijohn. I live at 119 South 26th Street. I think the exciting thing for me as an environmentalist is that this is all U.S. energy that is coming to this natural gas facility. I know when I fill up my car with gasoline, I always wonder, what horrible countries, my gasoline came from. But knowing that this is a domestic energy source is exciting, and if you can get a sustainability measure that has return on investment, it's exciting good thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, David Kennedy, General Manager of the South Bend Public Transportation Corporation, 1401 South Lafayette Boulevard, here in South Bend. This is obviously a great ordinance and resolution being brought before you. It not only helps Transportation Corporation or the Public Transportation Corporation provide quality transit to our community, but as we face dwindling tax dollars, this is a great way for us to replace that revenue with natural gas savings, but then also potentially the profits from the natural gas sales. So it's a great partnership between Transpo and the City of South Bend.
Thank you. Thank you. So all those wishing to speak opposed to Bill 514, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, the meeting is now coming back to the council. And council, I ask for a motion on Bill 514.
Recommendation. Second.
The bill has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Bill 514 will go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Moving on to Bill 614, City Clerk John Boyd, please read Bill 614.
Public hearing on a bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, amending the Teamster Employee Wage Ordinance, number 10267-13, to correct the attached schedule of positions and wage rates.
The Personnel and Finance Committee met earlier today and resend Bill 614 to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I now invite the petitioner to the podium.
John Murphy, City Controller. Back on October 30th, the Teamsters Local Union 364 ratified the collective bargaining agreement, and part of that was a hourly rate ordinance that was filed and approved at the same time. We noticed 3 clerical errors on the attached hourly rate schedule that we're correcting. Not significant dollar amounts, but important to the individual employees affected. Job leader, parks clerk 2, and curb and sidewalk finisher positions. Small hourly rate adjustments that we're correcting with this. And then, if you have any questions, please answer.
Thank you, John. Anyone on council wishing to ask any questions? Seeing no one, we will now move to the public portion. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of Bill 614, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, anyone wishing to speak opposed to Bill 614, please come to the podium. Seeing no one, the public portion is now closed and the council portion shall commence.
Move for further recommendation.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, Bill 614 will go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Moving on to Bill 714, Council Attorney Sikansky, must we accept the substitute first?
No, you have the reading first, then the motion.
Okay, City Clerk John Bordy, please read Bill 714.
714, public hearing on a bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing and establishing certain boundaries for South Bend to furnish water and sewage service to the public.
Make a motion to accept the substitute as on file with the city clerk.
I have a motion and a second to accept the substitute. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, now we will hear the substitute.
The Utilities Committee next.
Okay. Dr. Varner, the Utilities Committee met earlier today. How do you send this bill to council?
Madam Chair, the Utilities Committee had a public hearing on 7/14 this afternoon. It comes with no recommendation.
Thank you. I now invite, Public Works Director or?
Mayor.
Okay.
Good evening. This substitute bill is a result of a recent court decision that has put municipalities in the position of opting to be the first to assert the right of first refusal on providing sewer and water service outside of their immediate area. The administration presented this ordinance 2 weeks ago, originally suggesting that rules be suspended to pass it expeditiously, but on request of the council, instead did not suspend the rules, so it's now coming in normal force 2 weeks after that. In the intervening time, the council of the city of Mishawaka held a meeting in which they did suspend their rules and in fact their own ordinance, establishing their territory first. Their ordinance stopped short of the Road to the north and Graft Road to the south of the western boundaries, consistent with a long-standing informal understanding between the two cities. Been in communication with the city of Mishawaka to ensure that they understand our intentions and to explore the possibility of a written document affirming our mutual intent to recognize that informal agreement. In the meantime, this ordinance is before you for consideration. Because as is now, Mishawaka ratepayers are protected, but South Bend ratepayers are not until the ordinance passes. The concern we would have with any delays that not protecting South Bend at this time could risk any other incorporated municipality in our area moving to assert that first right of refusal before we do, leaving our ratepayers unprotected. This is presented with boundaries extending to a 4-mile radius in order to closely track the legal roadmap that was provided in the Newburgh decision in order to minimize the risk of invalidation. After discussion in committee, I've also submitted a letter clarifying our intent to honor the informal boundary that I mentioned earlier. And it would be our intent to respect that boundary, even if the Mishawaka ordinance were not in effect.
Thank you. Council, any, if I could just clarify, Mayor, you would like your letter, which you gave to us this evening, dated this date, as well as the utility service map that was attached to it, entered into the formal record this evening? Thank you. President Davis.
But I'm trying to just clarify what you stated to the audience so they'll understand what's going on.
As a part of the utilities meeting, there was much discussion with regard to the actual 4-mile ring around the city that is permitted by state law, and also the Newburgh case, which was handed down by the Court of Appeals in December of last year. Our mayor of South Bend has submitted a letter that basically honors the integrity of the long-standing informal agreement between the two communities of Mishawaka and South Bend that recognizes the service line of Hickory Road on the north and Grass Road on the south. And it now becomes a formal part of the record that the city of South Bend has no intention of going beyond that. That there is a proposed memorandum of understanding that our mayor has sent to Mayor Wood for their consideration to honor that long-standing agreement. And this shows clearly on the record what that, quote, gentleman's agreement has been for the past 20-plus years. And we wanted to make sure that the integrity of that process was acknowledged publicly because of the ordinance itself being the complete 4-mile ring. So this shows our intention, it shows our good faith to honor our commitment of the past.
A follow-up to that question, can you also mention the issue regarding the map that's going to be included?
The map that is attached to the actual ordinance shows the complete 4-mile, which is authorized by state law.
And you said you were going to actually include the other one?
Yes.
I thought it was my understanding that we were going to include this either as part of the letter or part of the record, which also depends.
It is part of the record.
It is part of the record.
It's a record.
I thought I saw it attached to the letter, but I wanted to make sure that the map is. That's all. Thank you.
Have to be on the record too.
This one or this one?
They are both now a part of the record.
Thank you.
They're both a part of the record?
Yes.
So you have the overall, plus you have the clarity showing that demarcation of both?
Yes.
President Davis, have your questions been answered?
I think they have. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Councilman, comment?
Comments are not allowed at this point. Only questions at this point of the presentation.
Any questions from council? Bless you. Seeing none, we will now open this to the public. I'm sorry, did you have a comment?
No.
Okay. Again, for the public, I think it is good to point out that the substitute bill deleted the penalty provision that was originally part of the original bill when it was filed 2 weeks ago.
Thank you. Again, I ask, are there any members of the public wishing to speak in favor of Substitute Bill 714? If so, please come to the podium.
My name is Beverly Fisher, and I I lived in South Bend for 40 years, and now I live in Clay Township, and I'm the president of the Wedgewood Park Neighborhood Association. You've probably seen this in the paper. In the last 2 months, we have a community well there. And in the last 2 months, we've had 27 people in our neighborhood that have lost their water. 3 plumbing companies have pretty much taken up office space in our neighborhood. You drive through our neighborhood right now, and it looks like Normandy, if you would have looked. We have signs where the AEP, gas, the water, the locators have, in the sand or in the snow, drawn out so we don't have problems with that. And then the snow was pushed back by the front-end loaders and showed all the leaves that never got picked up. Our yards are trashed. We have a 1957 well system that is failing. We have a double-edged sword. We're in a county, and we have the county highway department, the county engineer, the county health department, and the Wedgewood Park Water Company, and no one wants to take responsibility of getting started with something. Our streets are crumbling. Our water is we're getting it from Niles now because our well wouldn't produce it anymore. I don't know if we're in a 4-mile radius. I hope we are. But I know the water is at Lawton and 31, and I would hope that you would take a look at us. We have 213 homes in our neighborhood, 6 businesses on 31, and we'd love to have water.
Miss, if you would, Eric Horvath, directly behind you, is our Director of Public Works. If you would please speak with him.
Get the ball rolling.
Get the ball rolling. Yep. Thank you.
Get the water flowing.
Get the water flowing. Anyone else here wishing to speak in favor of Substitute Bill 714? Seeing no one. Anyone here wishing to speak opposed to Bill 714? Seeing no one. Oh, okay. Come on, Chris. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop.
Christopher Huff, 1831 College Street, South Bend. Once again, I'm neither speaking in favor nor against. However, the procedures here do not have a public comment section. It's either for or against. So, again, I'm neither for nor against. What I am going to make comment on is the process by which this was presented to the public. Number one, on December 7, 1992, the City of Mishawaka adopted not its most recent comprehensive plan, but one of its most recent comprehensive plans. That comprehensive plan, which still stands today and which was reaffirmed by the City of Mishawaka, actually the City of Mishawaka here recently, shows the area which several of the council members have been talking about earlier, the boundaries essentially between the South Bend and the Mishawaka service systems would divide at basically about Grass Road to the south and Hickory Road to the north. And this map indicates that from, again, December 7th, infamy 1992. Now, what bothers me is that this city, South Bend, when it presents maps that have not been vetted to the public, which no one knows about, I've been coming to these council meetings now very consistently since, I think, June last summer. There was absolutely nothing about any of this until I happened to be sitting in my parents' living room. My mother said, "Have you seen what South Bend's going to be doing?" I don't know what we're talking about. So whenever South Bend City decides to put together maps like that and start infuriating Mishawaka or suburban Collier County or Collier Township, it always comes back to bite the city. And in 1988 or so, there was an ordinance the city presented which backfired, and the state legislature got involved and put very, very definitive clamps on South Bend and Mishawaka. Now, the bottom line is, none of that should have been taken to the press until such time that these two mayors had a conversation together and reaffirmed the previously agreed to boundaries from many, many years ago, which Mishawaka put it in print. I don't know if South Bend ever did or not. But part of it, part of my angst here, is that this should have been taken care of behind the scenes. At such time as the two communities got together and agree on something, then they bring it to the respective legislative groups and
Thank you.
Old age, I didn't act fast enough to stand and say something in support of this motion. I can say it. I'm not speaking against, I'm speaking in favor of. But as I said, I'm old, and I didn't move quickly enough.
We need your name and
My name is
address,
Barry
please.
Cooper. I reside at 709 East Washington Street in South Bend, and I own various other properties in the city. I strongly am in favor of this ordinance and substitute ordinance, and the concept of the administration in the city of South Bend and our legislative body, the city council, moving aggressively to protect the interests of our ratepayers and taxpayers with respect to water and sewer. For too long, we've just kind of sat here in the city and given away virtually our water and sewer services, and that should stop. And I commend the mayor for doing an excellent and quick job of trying to resolve this issue, and I would recommend that the city council also take aggressive affirmative action on these types of things, not just with respect to water and sewer, but with respect to annexation and other things that keep the city of South Bend and expand the city of South Bend as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you. So, one last opportunity, those opposed? Okay. The public portion is now closed, and the council portion shall commence. I ask for a motion on... Okay. Okay, now. I stand corrected.
No, I was just going to, a gentleman just touched upon it as well. I was going to just talk about, the audacious task that's before us. I just want to recognize the fact that, I only wish that we are going to be, I hope that, in the coming months and years that the communication that needs to happen behind the scenes actually happens behind the scenes. I'm not saying do anything underhanded, but doing something that's necessary for the public to have trust in what we're doing. Particularly like having, any sort of passionate conversations on council floor, nor do I like it when we're having it in the subcommittee hearings, because it just doesn't look good, it doesn't fare well. I think everybody wants to see the city grow. I don't know anybody that's sitting here that wants to see not grow. But what I am pressing upon us is that we do use what we are able to use for our caucus meetings, one-on-one meetings, phone calls, emails, cell phone calls, lunch, dinners, what have you, to communicate these issues more aesthetically and properly so that we all are clear. And so when we come here to talk about the growth, we are happy that we're going to grow. The other thing I wanted to also say is that, sir, you were completely right. We do need to start talking about the expansion of services to the areas. We do need to start talking about annexation. We also need to talk about how do we even pay for these things as well. Although we think that they are the greatest things possible, we need to make sure that we do have the ability to pay for them. But the only way that South Bend grows is if our territory continues to grow, but we need to make sure that the baseline is being taken care of first. So I do support, as I said, I sort of supported it last week or 2 weeks before. I just want to make sure that we are going to do this responsibly, and that we are communicating better when these things take place, because again, it doesn't fare well for any of us when we have hiccups and hang-ups in between.
Thank you. Councilman Davis, are there any other comments? Seeing none, I now ask for a motion on substitute bill 714.
I move to send 714 to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? This bill, substitute bill 714, will go to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I now ask for a motion to rise in the report to the council. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
session. We'd like for Clerk Ford to have third reading on Bill 0414.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 17, Article 2, Section 17-27.1 of the South Bend Municipal Code to increase waste discharge rates from 6 cents to 15.1 cents per gallon.
Move to the passage of 414.
Second.
Mr. Ford, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Scott? Aye. Mr. Henry Davis? Mrs. Shea? Dr. Furley? Dr. Barber?
Aye.
Vice President Dieter? Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
President Davis?
Aye.
That'd be 9 ayes.
It passes. Thank you. Now, Clerk Ford, would you read Bill 0514?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of South Bend and the South Bend Public Transportation Corporation and further appropriating $972,500 from COIT Fund number 404 to participate in a compressed gas refueling or gas fueling facility project and its operation pursuant to the interlocal agreement.
Move for passage of Bill 05-14.
Second. Mr. Woody, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Henry Davis? Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Furley?
Aye.
Dr. Barber?
Aye.
Mr. Dieter? Sorry, Vice President Dieter?
Call me Derek, fine, aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
And President Oliver Davis?
Aye.
That'd be 9 ayes.
Thank you. That passes. Mr. Woody, would you read Bill 06-14?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the Teamster Employee Wage Ordinance number 10267-13 to correct the attached schedule of positions and wage rates.
Move for passage of Bill 06-14.
Second.
Mr. Woody, take the roll, please.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Furley?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Dieter? Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Scott? Aye. Mr. Henry Davis? And President Oliver Davis?
Aye.
9 ayes.
Thank you. Would you please read Bill 0714?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, authorizing and establishing certain boundaries for South Bend to furnish water and sewage service to the public.
A motion to amend as it was in the Committee of the Whole.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. It is now carried. Would you, Mr. Woody, would you please take the roll?
No, we have motion to pass the amended ordinance.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No?
No, now you go to Mr. Roy. Thank you, I appreciate it. Go ahead, Mr. Roy.
Dr. Furley?
Thank you.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Mr. Dieter? Mr. Furley? Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Scott? Mr. Henry Davis? Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
President Oliver Davis? 9 ayes.
Thank you. Now can we have a motion to continue Bill 14?
Motion 1415 and proceed indefinitely.
Second.
At the request of the petitioner.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Let's continue. Now could you read Resolution 1416?
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend designating certain areas within the City of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 5024 West Western Avenue, an economic revitalization area for purposes of up to a 7-year real property tax abatement for Briar Cliff Healthcare.
And can we have a committee report from Mr. Gavin Furlick?
Yes, community investment met today, and we send 1416 forward with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Can we have a presenter now? Please state your name and address, and give us a brief summary.
My name is Richard Kennedy. I live at 3821 Saxon Street. Berkeley Health is going to redevelop an economically obsolete facility in South Bend, which is not currently requirements. The facility will provide a variety of services, including spinal cord injuries, bariatric services, ortho services, general education services. Also, accept variety of pay sources to be open to the community. We've also created a training program and an outpatient adult daycare center that's located on the premises. The cost of construction here will be a little over $3.2 million. Assuming that the 7-year abatement is approved, the total tax related to the first term are estimated at $253,000. Tax abatement in the 7-year period would be $660,000. This will also create 40 full-time jobs in the first year and an additional 40 full-time jobs in the second year. And we're estimating a payroll of $2.4 million per year. I can answer any questions for the next meeting.
Are there any questions from the council this time? Thank you. We'd now like to open this up to the public, and if those like to speak in favor, please come forth. Those like to speak in opposition, please come forth. Public hearing is now closed. We go back to the council.
Recommendation? Second.
How about the adoption?
Or adoption? Second.
Thank you. Mr. Woody, would you please take the roll?
Dr. Barner.
Aye.
Vice President Peter.
Aye.
Mr. Furman. Aye. Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Furman. Aye. President Oliver Davis.
Aye. Glad to have you out there. Welcome. All righty. Now we'd like to have a motion.
I'd like to make a motion on 1417 to continue to March 10th, 2014.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
I would move that Bill 1418 be continued to 310.
Second.
My request of petitioner.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Mr. Woody, would you please read, have first reading for bill number 0814?
First reading of the bill amending the zoning ordinance and requesting a special exception for property located at 837 Minor Street, South Bend, Indiana, Councilmanic District 4, in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
I'd like to bill 814 go to Area Planning Commission.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is now gone. Mr. Woody, would you please have first reading for bill 0914?
First reading on a bill amending the zoning ordinance and requesting a special exception for property located at 1021 through 1023 Talbot Street, South Bend, Indiana, Councilmanic District 4, in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
I move that Bill 914 go to Area Planning Commission. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the same sign. It's carried. Mr. Woody, would you have first reading for bill 1014?
First reading on a bill amending the zoning ordinance and requesting a special exception for property located at 1104 Bissell Street, South Bend, Indiana, Councilmanic District 4, South Bend, Indiana.
I move that Bill 1014 go to Area Planning Commission. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. It is carried. Mr. Woody, would you have first reading for bill 1114?
First reading on a bill amending the zoning ordinance and requesting a special exception for property located at 1042 Minor Street, South Bend, Indiana, Councilmanic District 4, in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
I move that Bill 1114 go to Area Planning Commission. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. It is carried. So Woody, would you read first reading for bill 1214?
First reading on a bill amending the zoning ordinance and requesting a special exception for property located at 1012 Talbot Street, South Bend, Indiana, Councilmanic District 4, in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
Move that Bill 1214 go to Area Planning Commission. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. It's carried. So Woody, we have first reading for bill 1314.
First reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Section 2 of Ordinance 10192-12 to add the category of Police Department Recruit and fix recruit annual pay.
Question before we read this out. Bill 1314 is going to help the public safety, but I'm questioning why is it not going to personnel finance?
Let's go with both.
If you want a joint committee, you could.
And why does that have to be a joint committee? I'm just asking. I'm just asking because it deals with the ordinance.
Historically, it has always been a health and public safety jurisdiction area.
That's the question I asked. I'm moving Bill 1314 going to help the public safety for second and third reading on 3/10/2014. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the same side. It's carried. Mr. Woody, would you please have first reading for 1514?
First reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a resolution of the South Bend Economic Development Commission and establishing an economic development target area, Hill, and Colfax Streets.
I move that Bill 1514 go to community investment for second and third reading on 3/10/2014.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. It's carried. Mr. Woody, would you please have first reading for Bill 1614?
First reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a resolution of the South Bend Economic Development Commission and establishing an economic development target area, the LaSalle Hotel.
I make a motion to send Bill 1614 to the Community Investment Committee for 310.
Second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, it's carried. Mr. Woody, would you please have first reading for Bill 1714?
First reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 5 of the South Bend Municipal Code in its entirety and replacing it with a new Chapter 5 entitled Responsible Animal and Pet Ownership Care and Control Regulations.
Move that Bill 1714 goes to Health and Public Safety for second and third reading on April 28, 2014. Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same side. It's carried. With unfinished business, we have a motion for...
You can have the motions together on
For
this.
1314 and a 1419?
I'm sorry?
It's 314.
Oh, sorry, 0314 and 1419.
I move that Bill 314 and Bill 1419 go to the Area Planning Commission.
No, zoning and annexation
I'm sorry,
with
I'm
public
sorry.
hearings on March 10th.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Yeah.
Zoning and annexation?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? It is carried. Thank you. Is there any new business to come before this council at this late hour?
No.
Thank you. Now we have the privilege of the floor. Those who like to speak, you have, 3 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Give you 1 minute exit warning.
You know the rule.
Davis, P.O. Box 1045 South Bend, Indiana. I come here tonight, I was up here, maybe at the last meeting, and I talked about a sewer insurance ordinance that was rewritten by the Board of Public Works. Well, any ordinance that required that the company was an incorporation or whatever it is, it required a pre-qualification. So, I've been up there, there's been other citizens up there, we've brought up an issue of double billing by a out-of-town contractor and town. I've also brought up the issue of whether or not this guy was incorporated or legitimate business around here. Nothing ever seemed to happen, so tonight, I bring you a document that's dated 2014 from the Secretary of State's website that shows that this gentleman was incorporated in 1997 and his incorporation was dissolved in May of 2003 and has been a dissolved corporation since then. And other notes say this business entity is not eligible to receive a certificate of existence or authorization. Now that's from the Secretary of State. November 21st of 2013, the same contractor that was double billing and claims to be an incorporation supplied the city with a document from 1997, which I guess is his original incorporation documents, to prove to the city that he's still an incorporation. So if this isn't a form of fraud, I don't know what is. This guy's claiming to be an incorporation, he's doing business as that through the city of South Bend. He's harming local contractors by getting handed all this work, but yet the city continues to allow it to happen. So I want to give you these documents and have you look at it, and maybe get with your legal counsel and find out if this is not fraud. This guy should probably be arrested and ran out of town.
President Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Davis continues to come here every week or every council meeting with these same issues. Not a judge, not a jury. However, the documentation that he brings appears to be pretty good, legitimate stuff. So my question at this point is, if there is double billing going on, if we are doing something that could be looked upon as being undesirable, illegal perhaps, it's probably in our best interest to do something to make light of it and get it corrected. before it turns into something way worse than we want to handle. So I'm asking at this point, I mean, what do we do legally as a council to further along this?
Can I turn you into that one? And share what her thoughts are, how we could best approach this from a legal standpoint?
This matter was turned over to the legal department the day after Mr. Davis brought it to our attention. The Corporation Council provided a letter, I would say within the last 30 days, that the matter is still under investigation by the Indiana State Police.
Okay.
And will that new information be furnished to them?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So new information is going to be furnished to the state police then?
I'll refer to the legal department since they are the contact agency.
Okay.
Great. I'll send it to the state police.
It will get there somehow. Motion to adjourn.
So,
All in favor? Aye. It's carried.
Yeah, I forgot. No, I gotta go.